After a long 10-month wait, baseball is finally back on Cape Cod, and we get things underway. In the same way that we ended last season, it's a rematch of the 2024 Cape League Championship Series. To get us going in 2025, the Bourne Braves taking on the Harwich Mariners here at White House Field. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. We're so excited to be with you this season on Cape League TV and on YouTube. I'm Adam Gotkin alongside Devon Jarvis. Our sideline reporter, Ariel Tamir-Pinsky, will join us momentarily later in this broadcast. But Devon, man, it feels good to be back here on the Cape. It feels good to welcome you to the Cape.
Thank you.
It may not feel like it outside, a bit chilly, a bit rainy, but, you know, this is summertime. We're finally here.
I know, it's summertime in the Cape where you can have 80-degree days and 40-degree nights, but how better than to start our season with a championship rematch. This went 3 games last season, went down to the wire in the final, and I think it's only perfect to begin it once again this way, Adam. 2 very solid teams, had great seasons last year and are looking to reach where they did last year or go beyond for the Braves specifically. I think there's a lot that goes into it for them. Some new players coming to the team this year, players returning, but Adam, a fun season ahead.
It is, and there's always so much change between each season. For Bourne, though, there hasn't really been much change ever since Scott Landers took over. He's been the head coach for now 3 years, and he's won the division 3 times. This team has won the division 4 years in a row, so the expectation is to make it back to the championship.
It is, and consistency has been the trademark of this Bourne Braves team, not going anything less than reaching the championship game in his 3 years, winning 2 of those times, and instilling a culture in his players that is unlike any team in the league, which is why you see this Bourne team reach so high every single season. It's very special to see the roster he's developed here. They're already gelled off the field. That's the most important thing, some may say, to a good Cape team. You have that factor done. Now let's see if you can bring it onto the field and support your culture with the runs.
Yeah, without a doubt. On the other hand, for Harwich, Steve Englert, he's been around for a long time, longer than either of us have been alive. Very interesting season for Harwich last year. They had a couple stretches where they really struggled, had over a 10-game losing streak, but it's all about how you end, and for the Mariners, it was ending with a league championship. This should be fun. Teams heading out onto the field. It is a really rough day out here. As we were saying, it's a little bit rainy, a little bit windy, but you know what? Baseball is baseball. We're going to step aside for the national anthems. Be back with first pitch in just one moment. We are just about ready to get things going here from White House Field. Devon, why don't you give us our starting lineups for today?
Absolutely. Let's begin with the Bourne Braves, who will take their bat outs first. It's Justin LeBron leading off for the Braves out of Alabama. He'll be playing shortstop. In the 2 position, Cade Lewis playing first base out of Wake Forest. Batting third, Braden Holcomb, a returner to the Braves, playing right field from Vanderbilt. And in the 4th spot, cleanup, Logan Hughes out of Texas Tech, playing left field. Batting 5th, Bryce Molinaro, the 3rd baseman from Penn State. Batting 6th, John LeGrand, the center fielder from St. John's. And then 7th, 8th, and 9th are Weber Niels, the designated hitter from Minnesota. Jimmy Keenan, the catcher from Wake Forest. And Riker Waite from Vanderbilt, batting second leadoff. Now for your Harwich Mariners on the other side. Trey Broussard, the center fielder from Houston, leads off. Harry Feinberg, the right fielder, bats second from Northeastern. Eric Becker, the shortstop from UBA, bats third. Batting cleanup, Matt Conti, the catcher from Wake Forest. Jordan Jaffe bats fifth from Richmond. He's playing third base. Batting sixth, Evan Dempsey, the designated hitter from FGCU. Kyle Wolf, the first baseman from Boston College, bats seventh. Batting eighth is Jake Coonan, the second baseman from Princeton. And finally, rounding things out for the Mariners is Nico Brini, the left fielder from Wofford. Adam, take it away for first pitch.
Well, the Mariners will have Jake McCoy on the mound, a sophomore left-hander out of the University of South Carolina. He was the Saturday starter for the Gamecocks this past year with 14 outings, had a 6.90 ERA. In 60 innings, he was really a strikeout guy. Retired 77 batters via the punch-out, his whip at a 1.7. So a very experienced player at the highest level. Again, a southpaw, stands at 6'1", 185 pounds. Harwich in its cream uniforms, the classics, one of the best uniforms in the league with the blue name across the front and numbers on the back with red trim. The Bourne Braves in their classic away blue uniforms with the red numbers and gray pants. A lot of the players sporting their home school helmets as we are just about ready to get going. Jake McCoy finishing up his warm-up pitches. This is the second time that McCoy has played summer ball. Back before his freshman year at South Carolina, he played in the Appalachian League for Pulaski and had an ERA of 3.07. So that's the best that he's pitched since graduating high school. We'll see what he can do here. For Bourne, it's Justin LeBron to lead things off. Probably, you could say, the best name in the Cape League.
It's up there.
LeBron. You'll hear a lot of LeBron jokes, I think, from us this season. And
undoubtedly.
His ability at the plate really backs up the name. LeBron, second-team All-SEC this past season at Alabama, first-team All-SEC the season before. The lefty on the mound, McCoy, comes into the line. The first pitch of the season is a fastball taken outside, and we start things off with a count of 1-0. LeBron, the everyday shortstop for the Crimson Tide ever since he started as a freshman, stands in the box, sees the pitch. It's a fastball upstairs, and the count 2-0 to get things going. LeBron, a guy who's expected to be a leader of this team, both in the clubhouse and on the field. The 2-0. Hit in the air, down the line in right field, and foul out of play. So there's the first strike of the season for the Mariners in the count 2-1.
And Adam, you can tell by the way he holds himself, too. He's got that presence to be a leader, introducing himself to everyone in the organization. The second he showed up, he's a really smooth guy.
The 2-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball. 2-2. LeBron got a little piece of that, but went right past his bat. This is a guy at the plate who might be the #1 overall pick in next year's draft. He's up there in the mock drafts. He sees the 2-2 pitch. In there, strike three, fastball at the knees, froze Justin LeBron, and it's a backwards K to get us going. And there's out #1 at the top of the first inning.
Not something you want if you're the Braves, but LeBron still adjusting to wooden bats in this type of baseball. Of course, didn't go down there because of the bat, but nevertheless, he'll have to come back later this game and prove himself a little more. How about our next guy here from Wake?
Cade Lewis, another very exciting player on this Bourne roster, stands in the box. The first pitch from McCoy is at the knees on a changeup in the count 1-0. A lefty-lefty battle here. The man at the plate, Lewis, second-team All-ACC this past season for the Demon Deacons. He stands in, waves his bat on his shoulders, and sees the 1-0. Fastball just catches the up and inside part of the zone. The count 1-1 strike. Lewis spent this last season at Wake, but before that was at Butler and was a freshman All-American there, as well as the Big East Freshman of the Year. The 1-1, just outside on a slider, 2-1. So Lewis is a player with a whole lot of pedigree. Started the season red hot, was hitting .440 entering the last week of April before slowing down a little bit, but still ended this past season hitting .376, so not too shabby. The 2-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball inside. 2-2 to Lewis.
McCoy doing a great job attacking the zone right now and throwing swing and miss pitches against these Bourne batters.
Back-to-back at-bats to start, where McCoy has started off behind and then battled back. The 2-2 from the wind. Swing and a miss on an off speed at the knees. It was in the dirt, so Conti, the catcher, does pick it up and throw to first well in time, and that is out number 2. So Jake McCoy, a strikeout pitcher at South Carolina, starts off his Harwich Mariners and Cape Cod League career with back-to-back Ks, one looking, one swinging, and that will bring up the number 3 hitter to the plate, and the only Bourne Brave in the starting lineup who was on the team last season, Braden Holcomb, the right-handed hitting right fielder out of Vanderbilt.
Had a very solid season at Vandy, Adam.
He's a very talented player, very imposing, 6'5", former All-State tight end in football in Florida. The right-hander stands in the box. The first pitch from the lefty from the wind is a off-speed in for a strike at the knees, 0-1. Holcomb was an all-star for Bourne last season, hit .333, but despite his size, struggled sometimes to hit for power. Definitely one of his big goals this season. McCoy into the wind, the high leg kick, and the fastball way upstairs. 1-1. McCoy's got a lot of power off the mound for a lefty. Can get up towards 94, 95 miles an hour. You always say there's a reason that guys like him are weekend starters at SEC schools, and you can see it already. The 1-1 in the dirt on an off speed, 2-1. Holcomb with the same host family as last year. He said that it's nice to be back somewhere he's comfortable, not having to sleep in a new bed, get used to a new family. Everything makes a difference. The 2-1. Fouled right back and off the ground. It'll stop a couple feet after the dirt, and the count 2-2. So once again, Jake McCoy falls behind early and battles back to a 2-2 count. Let's see if he can strike out the side. Holcomb, the right-handed hitter, adjusting his bright white batting gloves. Rain coming down very slowly, just a bit of a drizzle. So grip shouldn't be too much of a problem. McCoy ready, into the wind. Here's the 2-2. In the dirt, Holcomb thought about it for a second, but was able to hold back. Count moves full to 3-2. There's one thing about Holcomb, it's that he is known for being very patient. Last season had 16 walks for Bourne in 37 games, especially early in the season. He was good at waiting for his pitch. The payoff, swing and a miss on a fastball, strike 3. And how about that from Jake McCoy? Starts off his season by striking out the side, and Bourne goes down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and that does it for the top of the first. We'll step aside. You're listening to the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. And we're into the bottom of the first inning here from White House Field. Bourne goes down 1-2-3 in the top of the first. And now the Harwich bats come to the plate. It'll be Trey Broussard, Harrison Feinberg, and Eric Becker due up. Josh Gunther on the mound for Bourne. He comes out of Wake Forest and was one of the top bullpen arms for the Demon Deacons this past year. 26 appearances, 29 innings, and 47 strikeouts. Really impressive stuff. But Devon, no starts, so today will be something new.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see a guy who hasn't been able to have that starting position at his college come in here in the Cape. Andrew Healy, the original pitcher, supposed to come in this game, also a reliever, but he had back issues and he is replaced.
First pitch of the game from Gunther is a fastball up and outside. So Trey Broussard at the plate starts off ahead in the count 1-0. Broussard out of the University of Houston. Transfer there from San Jac Junior College as the 1-1 fouled back. Uh-oh, and that hit our microphone. The worst spot possible.
Yeah, I think if any place for a foul ball back to go, that was not the spot we wanted it.
I mean, bottom of the first inning, too, and we've already got a mic hit. I guess that's a bad sign for this season, Devon.
We've got 5 mics out here, so maybe we're doing a little shooting practice. We'll see.
I guess so. The 1-1, off-speed upstairs, right at the letters, and the count 2-1. Broussard at the University of Houston, of course, now in the Big 12 after being in the American for a while. Had some really big games, led the Cougars in hits, had 18 multi-hit games. The lefty watches the 2-1 pitch and hits it in the air the other way towards left field. Hughes moving over, but it bounces in front of him. Broussard with the big turnaround first. He's on his way to second. The throw's in time, but it bounces away, and it's rolling all the way past the dugout up the first base line. Broussard is all the way into third base, and just like that, the Harwich Mariners have their leadoff runner 90 feet away from home to start the game after a double into left and an error on the infield.
Could have had him at second, too, if the tag went down, but Bourne, like their offense, couldn't get it done. This defense showing a little bit of struggles early.
So it'll be interesting to see if that's a E7 on Hughes or maybe a E4 on the second baseman Waite, but either way, it brings Harrison Feinberg to the plate, who swings and misses the first pitch. And so the count 0-1. Feinberg out of Northeastern, transfer there from the University of South Carolina. A redshirt junior, one of the older guys on the Cape.
Fills out his size pretty well. Looks bigger than 6'1", which he's listed at.
0-1, and that hit him right on the wrist. A fastball got inside. And so just like that, it is runners on the corners with no outs here in the bottom of the first inning. And no runs for Bourne, so this is not how you want to start. Go down 1-2-3 in the first. And now runners on the corners with no outs for Eric Becker at the plate. And this is a guy who is third-team All-ACC at the University of Virginia, a player who will be playing for the U.S. Collegiate National Team. So a guy who can really do some damage standing in. Gunther, the right-hander, comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to the lefty Becker is swung on and missed. So the count 0-1, and a big first pitch there from Gunther. Broussard 90 feet away at third. Feinberg behind him at first. Already some self-induced harm here from Bourne with the error and the hit by pitch. Becker trying to make them pay. The 0-1 runner going. It's hit in the air towards right field, and that's down for a base hit. Broussard soars from third. The throw into third is in time. The tag is not in time. Feinberg slid in safely. It's an RBI single for Eric Becker, and the Mariners lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first inning, just like that.
Excellent execution by the Mariners, by their 3 batters. Eric Becker with a great hit ball into right field, and that's all you need to do to bring a run home. And once again, we got runners on the corners.
That's just real good baseball to start things off. You get the double in an air, hit by a pitch, and boom, hit and run. Put that runner on third, bring a man home, and the Mariners are rolling early on here in the bottom of the first inning, and with that, Jimmy Keenan, Bourne's catcher, goes out onto the mound to speak things over with his pitcher, Josh Gunther, now walking back behind the plate with his team down 1-0. No outs, runners still on the corners here in the bottom of the first inning, and Matt Conti, the catcher for Harwich, headed to the plate. Conti just finished up his freshman year at Wake Forest. hit .295 for the Demon Deacons. His first pitch is a fastball upstairs, and the count 1-0. Conti, a local guy from Andover, Massachusetts, was the Gatorade Player of the Year in both 2023 and 2024. Gunther, the right-hander, stands in. The high kick and the pitch. Very slow curveball. Just misses outside. Count 2-0. Decent crowd filling in as the rain starts to slow down a little bit. Very cloudy day. 2-0 pitch upstairs on a fastball. This is not necessarily what you think of when you think of summer baseball. And maybe Bourne hasn't really gotten the idea that the season's underway here. A 3-0 count, runners on the corners, and a run already in. Gunther trying to limit the damage here and at least try and get the first down. The pitch, upstairs, ball 4. He walks him. So on 4 pitches, Matt Conti gets first base, and that loads him up. No outs still, and Jordan Jaffe, the third baseman out of Richmond, is the next to come up.
Interesting spot for the Braves here. It looks like Coach Landers is going to come out and talk to Gunther for just a moment. Not the start you wanted. Lack of discipline in his pitches right now that has both led to some walks, hit by pitch, but also easy pitches for this Mariners team to find their bat to. 2 pretty solidly hit balls into both left and right field.
Couple of line drives for those base hits. 2 hits, a hit by pitch, and a walk. That's put the 3 runners on and brought him home, and Jordan Jaffe stands on deck. Scott Landers, the field manager in his 4th year in charge of Bourne, on his way back into the dugout. Even though he is the manager, he is also the team's pitching coach that is not in the bullpen, as the other pitching coach that this team has, Kevin Curtin, mainly stays in the bullpen. So sometimes it's a little bit confusing for us. Landers will be the one who goes out for the meetings. As ready to get back underway, Gunther's first pitch to Jordan Jaffe's outside on an off-speed, and the count 1-0. Jaffe out of the University of Richmond, just finished up his junior season. Played in 52 games for the Spiders and hit a whopping .364. The 1-0, a fastball upstairs, the count 2-0. Jaffe, a guy who can do it all, got on base at a very high mark, also hit 10 homers this past season. And he's got the bases loaded here with no outs and a 1-run lead. The 2-0 popped up back towards the first base dugout. That's out of play over our heads and into the trees. And so Gunther now with a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Ducks all around the pond. Jaffe trying to bring him home. The 2-1 upstairs, 3-1. Now the one thing you really don't want to do here, Devon, is another ball and walk a guy in. Gunther this past season at Wake Forest didn't really have much of an issue with walks, just 18 and 29 innings. The 3-1 is upstairs, that's ball 4, so without an out, that's his 2nd of the game. The 3rd free pass given, including the hit by pitch, and it's 2-0 Mariners here in the bottom of the 1st inning.
Struggling with the command right now, and you wonder maybe do the elements have something to do with it? I wouldn't say it's the drizzle, but the
colder weather, maybe?
Exactly. The colder temperatures can maybe get to a player a little bit, stiffen their muscles, and not maybe have the grip or arm movement they want to on their throws.
So Evan Dempsey steps up to the plate, the left-handed hitter. The first pitch he sees is in for a strike at the knees with an off-speed, and the count 0-1. So big there for Gunther to get ahead in the count. Dempsey, the designated hitter today. He is a two-way player, also pitches, and is really, really good at Florida Gulf Coast. Was first-team All-ASUN as a starting pitcher this past year with an ERA under 2. But at the plate here, the 0-1 pitch is outside, and the count 1-1. At the plate this past season for FGCU, Dempsey hit .309. Seems to be some action over in the Bourne bullpen. Jonathan Stevens getting loose, the returner from the University of Alabama. But Gunther's still out there. His 1-1 swung on and missed. Fastball outside, the count 1-2. Big pitch here, big chance for Gunther to finally get this first out. He hasn't been ahead 1-2. Wide stance from Dempsey at the plate. Hands choked up on the bat with 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. Nice defensive swing. That's out of play, and the count's still 1-2. Eric Becker at third, Matt Conti at second, Jordan Jaffe at first. Bases loaded for Josh Gunther. He's still looking for his first out here in the bottom of the first inning. 2 runs have already crossed for Harwich. Gunther, a long look in. He gets the sign and comes into the wind. The 1-2. Bounces way in front of the plate, and here comes the runner home. Actually, no, it hit him. That ball hit Dempsey, so the run can come home no matter what. That's Eric Becker who scores, and it's 3-0. Harwich here in the bottom of the first inning. That's the second hit by pitch. 4th free pass when you include walks as well. And oh boy, things are unraveling before they've even gotten underway, Devon.
Quite a long first inning for this Braves team on both the top and the bottom of the first. But now you wonder, how short is this leash? Does Gunther come out soon, even in the first inning, with Stevens warming up in the bullpen?
Now he faces Kyle Wolf. Corner infield playing in. First pitch is popped straight up into the air. Here's a chance for out number 1. The catcher, Keenan, moving back. He stands in the grass and makes the catch over his head. So finally, there it is. 7 batters in. The Bravos get out number 1 of this 2025 season. It comes at the hands of a Kyle Wolf pop-up to the catcher, Jimmy Keenan. And so that brings up Jake Coonan to the plate, the right-handed hitting second baseman out of Princeton. Bases still loaded. The infield still playing in on the corners and double play depth in the middle. Coonan, one of the top players in the Ivy League, looking to advance this Harwich lead. His first pitch is the fastball low and the count 1-0. Coonan played in Hyannis last summer, but just for 1 game. So got a tiny nibble of Cape Cod League baseball, but now getting his first true appetizer. He waits the 1-0 pitch. Here it is. Hit hard towards the third base side. Molinaro Fields goes to second for 1, and it's into right field. 1 run comes around to score. Here comes Jaffe. He's in, and just like that, it is 5-0 Mariners. An E5 against Bryce Molinaro. 2 runs come in to score. Evan Dempsey ended up going to third base. Coonan stopped at first, so runners on the corners for Harwich with 1 out. The number 9 hitter, Nico Brini, will come to the plate with a 5-0 lead.
Can't have that. You can't have that to begin the season, but you've got to rally in and kind of put your bandage on, stop the hemorrhage, and close this first inning out.
The number 9 hitter, Brini, sees the first pitch. It's in for a strike on a fastball inside, and the count 0-1. Still just 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Harwich with a 5-0 lead. The number 9 hitter, Nico Brini, at the plate. And remember, Bourne went down 1-2-3 in the top of the first. Gunther's pitch. Bounces it in the dirt. That bounces away from Keenan. Dempsey's on his way home. He scores standing up. 6-0 Harwich. Oh, man. This one's ending before it even got underway.
And all really self-inflicted wounds for the most part. Errors, hit by pitches, walks, wild pitches. Almost all of these.
2 errors, 2 hit by pitches, 2 walks, and now a wild pitch. I would assume that's a wild pitch and not a pass ball as it was bounced in front of the plate. So a runner on second. That's Coonan. The 1-1 to Brini. Way slow. He took a lot off of it, and it missed outside. 2-1.
You lose the double play now as well with Coonan on second.
Infield playing pretty normal, maybe a little bit shifted to the right with the left-handed hitting Brini at the plate. The 2-1 inside. That almost hit Coonan. And the count 3-1. Gunther already getting up there in pitch count. This next one is his 30th of the inning. Brini awaits. Here's the pitch. Hit high in the air, down the line in right field, and out of play over the fencing and over the hill that some fans are sitting on down right field. So that moves the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Harwich leads Bourne 6-0 on opening day. And Josh Gunther still trying to get out of this first inning. The payoff pitch. Jams him, popped up, center field. LeGrand got a weird initial read, and then eventually it's the left fielder Hughes who runs in and makes the catch. So a little bit scary out there. There were 3 men running in, and eventually it was Logan Hughes, the left fielder, who made the catch over his head with his hat flying off. So finally there's out number 2.
And both on pop-ups so far. Paul landed in that, or would have landed in that kind of awkward spot between left, center, and short. But good job by the Braves defense to eliminate anything that could have gone wrong there, which has been pretty present in most of their defensive plays today.
So Gunther trying to finally get out of it here with Trey Broussard at the plate, the leadoff hitter. First pitch, off speed, gets away from him, and the count 1-0. Broussard hit a double to get this game going in the bottom of the first, advanced to third on an error, and then came in to score on the Eric Becker RBI single. Gunther kicks and deals. Popped up, foul down the third baseline and out of play. And a fan makes a really nice catch. How about that? Early on, already some nice plays outside the field.
Better than some of the plays we've seen inside.
Maybe get him out there.
Yeah, right?
Bourne trying to get out of this first inning. 1-1 the count, 2 outs. Gunther stands in. Glove at the belt. Looks back to second. And now to the plate. Here's the pitch. Ground ball right side. Waite moving in. Takes it. Fields it underhand. And that's in time for out number 3. And so finally, that does it for a very, very long bottom of the first inning. But not over until Harwich brings 6 across the plate on 2 hits, 2 errors, 1 man left on. We're into the second. You're listening to the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Time for the top of the second inning here from White House Field. Adam Gotkin and Devon Jarvis with you on opening day. Bourne down 6-0 here to Harwich. Jake McCoy back out onto the mound for his second inning of work. It's 4-5-6 due up for Bourne. First pitch to Logan Hughes on its way. And it's just outside on a fastball, 1-0.
About as poor as it could have gone for that first inning. Not only do you go down all on strikeouts, 1, 2, 3, but a plethora of errors in that first inning to give Harwich a 6-0 lead, Adam.
1-0, swung on and missed by Hughes, and the count 1-1. Hughes, one of the guys who has really impressed us so far through batting practice. First team all Big 12 this past season at Texas Tech. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball upstairs. Hughes was way behind it, and the count 1-2.
Hard to really understand the entirety of a player just by batting practice, but he was one of those few guys with just immense power, putting it over the fence multiple times.
1-2. Just got him at the knees. Hughes thought about it for half a second and realized right as the ball got into the glove of the catcher, Conti, that it was strike 3. and heads back towards the dugout. That's 4 strikeouts to start the day for Jake McCoy, and that brings up the number 5 hitter, Bryce Molinaro, who's trying to now make up for that E5 in the bottom of the first. Molinaro out of Penn State. Struggled a little bit this past year for the Nittany Lions, but was a second-team All-Big Ten member back in 2024. His first pitch, a changeup in the dirt, and the count 1-0. Molinaro played for the Keene Swamp Bats of the NECBL last season. The 1-0 upstairs, 1-1. So Molinaro, a guy with a lot of wood bat experience. But again, his batting average went from .329 in 2024 down to .267 in 2025. So trying to get back into the swing of things here. The 2-0, fastball upstairs, 3-0. Some good patience here after Bourne's first 4 batters all went down via the strikeout. McCoy, the lefty, into the wind. Here's the pitch. In for a strike on a fastball inside part of the plate. The count 3-1. McCoy looks in, glove at the belt, now brings it to the numbers and comes into the wind. 3-1, swung on and missed, 3-2.
As we saw in the first inning, Jake McCoy goes down in the count early, brings himself back as a prime opportunity to once again put a Bravo away.
Here's the payoff pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3 on the fastball. 5 up, 5 down, 5 strikeouts for Jake McCoy to get things going. Oh man, he is looking impressive so far.
I mean, perfect, you could say.
Can't get any better, yeah.
All strikeouts. Also efficient with his pitches for the most part. Not like he's working counts past full for many foul balls. Swing and miss pitches for him.
First pitch to John LeGrand is fouled off over the third base dugout. So LeGrand starts off behind in the count, 0-1. This is a very exciting player at the plate. The left-hander out of St. John's. First team All-Big East for the Red Storm this past season. The 0-1. Swing and a miss on an off-speed at the knees. 0-2.
You imagine one of those players brought in by Ed Blankmeyer, the new assistant coach, second to Lando in the dugout.
Former head coach for St. John's for 24 years, a Hall of Famer. 0-2. Bouncing ball up the middle, moving over his Becker. He fields and throws to first, and that's down the line. LeGrand is on his way to second, and he'll get that base freely because the ball bounced into the dugout. So Bourne gets a little bit of help after a couple errors in the bottom of the first. There's error number 1 on Harwich. It moves John LeGrand to second. And just like that, Bourne has a runner in scoring position for Weber Niels, the designated hitter. And by the way, that was just an error. They don't give LeGrand a single.
Probably was close, though.
Yeah, I think that might get changed afterwards. We'll see after they look at it again.
Had a chance of beating it out.
But either way, it brings Niels to the plate with a chance to bring in a run. First pitch to the righty is in for a strike on a changeup, 0-1. Niels, the designated hitter again out of the University of Minnesota. When he's in the field, he catches. Second team All Big Ten for the Gophers this past season. Draft eligible this year after finishing his junior season, and he ropes one down the left field line. That's a fair ball, and that's going to roll all the way into the corner. LeGrand comes in home, and Weber Niels is into second base with a head-first slide. It's an RBI double, and the Bourne Braves are on the board here in the top of the second inning.
Just an excellent way to attack early against McCoy. Don't let him get ahead of you, and puts a great ball down the line, saw it the entire way. And when you got a guy like LeGrand with wheels at second, no doubt he's scoring with a ball put in the corner.
And that's what you got to do if you're Bourne. Start to get some runs back. You give up a 6 spot in the bottom of the first. Well, you know what? You got 9 innings to play with. So Bourne gets one back, and Jimmy Keenan now comes to the plate to try and get another one here with the runner still in scoring position. That was the first 2 base runners McCoy has allowed, and the first run. First pitch now to Keenan is a fastball upstairs in the count, 1-0. So maybe McCoy a little bit shaken after allowing some base runners pitching from the stretch for the first time.
Yeah, we'll see. How does this change the way he approaches batters? First hit off him. Can't really say he did anything wrong against LeGrand, but Now he's facing a little bit of adversity.
The left-hander looks back, now deals. Fastball just misses on the outside part of the plate, and it's 2-0. Keenan transferred to Wake Forest after being probably the best player for St. John's, so also maybe a relationship there between him and Coach Blankmeyer. The 2-0, in for a strike on a fastball, outside part of the plate. Keenan was first team All-Big East for St. John's and then transferred to Wake Forest. Played 9 games on the Cape last season in Orleans, but 9 games he'd probably like to forget about. 2 for 20, but experience is experience in this league. Not many have it. The 2-1 pitch hit high in the air, shallow left field, and it's caught on the edge of the grass by Eric Becker, the shortstop. So that does it for the top of the second inning, but the Braves do get 1 run back on 1 hit, 1 error, 1 man left on base, and we move into the bottom of the second inning with the score 6-1 Harwich.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Bottom of the second inning here at White House Field. The Harwich Mariners lead the Bourne Braves 6-1. Adam Gotkin, Devon, Jarvis with you here on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. You'll hear from our sideline reporter, Ariel Tamir-Pinsky, later on in the broadcast. Josh Gunther heads back onto the mound for the Bravos for the second inning after giving up 6 runs in the first. To be fair to him, he didn't look that bad. He just really didn't get much help at all. 2 errors in the field, although some self-inflicted wounds also with the walks and hit by pitches.
Yeah, he didn't have the command you would probably look for.
First pitch is swung on and missed. Harrison Feinberg takes a hack.
Just didn't quite have the command in the strike zone. Might see that this inning after probably spending his top of the second talking with Coach Lando.
The 0-1. Fastball fouled straight back, out of play towards the parking lot. And the count 0-2. Feinberg was one of the guys hit by a pitch, one of 2 hit by a pitch last inning. He then came around to score. But Gunther ahead 0-2. Did not get ahead early last time out. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Fastball up and in. And so there it is. That's how you start an inning after a bad one. Start it right away, 3-pitch strikeout, and Gunther gets his first K of the day, first K of the Cape League season. That'll bring Eric Becker to the plate. He had an RBI single last time up. But for Gunther, he's a guy who didn't start at all at Wake Forest, so maybe he's just not used to starting, and that's what we see here.
Fair point. He's no longer in the first inning. You could see it. He's coming in as the second in the middle of the game, where he often does when he plays at Wake Forest. But I think a great sign for him to get that strikeout early. All first 6 of his batters he faced in the first all scored.
His first pitch missed for a ball. Now the 1-0 is swung on and missed. Beautiful off speed, 1-1. Gunther struggling a little bit with his footing at times. We've seen him slip as he hits the bottom of the ground. It was raining earlier today. The 1-1 fouled off down the third baseline, out of play into the trees, 1-2. The rain has luckily stopped ever since the game started, but still very cloudy skies and a bit chilly. The 1-2 from the wind. Just outside. Keenan tried to frame it. So the count 2-2. Here it comes. That's low. Took some off, and the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gunther looking for back-to-back Ks. The payoff pitch. Fouled off over the third base dugout behind the plate. Becker battling. Shortstop out of Virginia. Stands in the left-handed box. Starting to see some mud collect a little bit in those batters' boxes, just with how damp the field was earlier today. The 3-2 again. Fouled off again. And we continue to battle between Josh Gunther and Eric Becker.
Becker's continually late to these pitches as well. Gunther maybe has the chance to keep it high and then switch back to an off-speed to punch him out. We'll see how this battle goes, though.
Becker awaits the pitch. Here it comes. Outside, ball 4. Tried to speed him up with the fastball, but just couldn't locate it. And that is the third walk of the game already for Josh Gunther. Allows a base runner for the first time here in the bottom of the second. That brings up Matt Conti, the catcher out of Wake Forest, who walked and then scored earlier. It was the first 6 batters who came in to score for Harwich. As that's a hard hit ball by Conti in the air towards center field. LeGrand moves in on it, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Ball thrown in, kind of gets away, but luckily able to be collected by Riker Waite. So no damage there, and Becker does retreat back to first, and there's a nice second out for Gunther.
Much quicker work this inning against these Mariners for Gunther. You didn't really know if he was going to come back in this game, too. You had Jonathan Stevens warming up. You're glad he did.
Definitely. Save the arms. This is a long season. If you can only get 1 inning out of your starting pitcher on opening day, that's not a good sign. But Gunther seems to be settling in. Now he'll face Jordan Jaffe, who he walked first time up. Pickoff attempt to first, back in with the head first slide as Becker.
Call it first of the season on a pickoff attempt for either of these teams.
Gunther looks in at his fellow Demon Deacon behind the plate, Jimmy Keenan. Jaffe watches the pitch outside for a ball. Gunther's done a better job of getting ahead in the count in this half inning. The 1-0. Swing and a miss in the dirt. 1-1. So of the 6 runs, only 2 came off of hits, and those 2 hits for Harwich were 2 of the first 3 batters of the game. There's been 11 at-bats since then without a hit. 1-1, fastball just below the knees. At the stirrups of the socks of the batter Jaffe, and the count 2-1.
Attacking a lot more with fastballs this inning compared to last. It's led to more success.
Gunther looks down to the pitch comm on his left wrist. Now comes set. Pitch number 50 of the outing. We'll have to wait as he tries another pickoff attempt at first, but Becker back in easily. Gunther sets at the belt. Looks in, high kick in the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sorry, strike 2. Apologies. I thought that was the 2-strike pitch. Still game number 1 for us as well, Devon.
Yeah, right. We're getting our warm-up in.
So now the 2-2. Here's the pitch. And that one's fouled back to the backstop. Does that one hit our mic again?
I think it may have. That'll be the 3rd time so far.
We might just have to move it. I mean, I think this might have happened maybe once or twice all of last season.
Trial and error, Adam.
It's in the same spot, too, that we did before. There's something about 2025, and that mic is magnetic. But either way, it's still a 2-2 count. Gunther looks in. Here's the pitch. There it is, swing and a miss, strike 3. And Gunther does get out of this bottom of the second inning after a 1-out walk. He gets 2 strikeouts, a nice bounce back 0 after giving up a 6th spot in the bottom of the first. And we move into the 3rd with the score. Harwich 6, Bourne 1. You're listening to the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
Top of the third inning, Harwich up 6-1 over Bourne. Welcome back into White House Field. Adam Gotkin, Devon, Jarvis with you. Jake McCoy back on to the mound for his third inning of work. The left-hander comes into the line. His first pitch to Riker Waite, the number 9 hitter for Bourne, is a ball, and the count 1-0. Waite out of Vanderbilt, just finished up his freshman season with the Commodores. The right-handed hitter sees the pitch and hits it hard down the line in left field, but foul off the batting cages, and the count 1-1. Waite, definitely one of the smaller guys on this team, just 5'10", 175. But you can already tell just from that swing, he can get a lot of power on it.
Well, he's from that right side, Adam.
1-1 misses for a ball.
And he's a switch hitter. When he's from the right side, he's looking for more power. Left side is more hitting for average.
McCoy, the lefty into the line, the 2-1. In for a strike, took some off, and the count 2-2. Waite played last summer in the South Florida Collegiate League. Hit .344 for Boca Raton. The 2-2, outside on a fastball.
Not sure spending a summer in Boca Raton and then arriving to the Cape thinking it's going to be just as nice and being in 50-degree weather is probably what Riker was hoping for, but he'll have to get used to it.
Yeah, guys hear about the beach, and now they're on sweatshirts. The payoff pitch, inside that hit him. Fastball right on the elbow, so would have missed the zone either way, but it is a hit by pitch, and for the first time today, the Braves have a leadoff batter on, and it comes at a great time as now the leadoff batter in the lineup, Justin LeBron, comes to the plate with a runner on and no outs here in the top of the third inning with his team trailing by 5. LeBron struck out looking his first time up to get the season underway, and now stands back into the box. Strikeouts really one of the only issues for LeBron. Had a lot of them this past season as he hits the first pitch foul down the right field line.
You're not typically your stereotypical leadoff batter, LeBron, but he can do damage with guys on base, slugging .550 last season at Alabama. He should be special.
Again, he's someone who is up there in the talks for the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 draft. The 0-1, in for a strike on a fastball, 0-2.
I know how excited we were when we heard he was coming to Bourne.
How much was it name versus pedigree? For me, it's 50-50. Just the name LeBron is enough.
Yeah, for me it was more name. For you, I think it was more pedigree.
The 0-2. Upstairs, 1-2. As we said, also a stand-up guy. LeBron, one of the guys who came up and introduced himself to us, which is always something that, just you pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't just us. It was also the interns, social media team, photographers, everybody.
Great interactions overall, though, with the entire team so far. 1-2, swing and a miss on a fastball upstairs. And LeBron goes down swinging. That's the second time he's gone down via the strikeout already today. And that brings up Cade Lewis to the plate. He also went down swinging earlier. By the way, that's strikeout number 6 already for Jake McCoy. But again, it brings Cade Lewis to the plate, the left-handed hitter, so a lefty-lefty matchup. With 1 out in the top of the third. First pitch, fastball, just catches the outer part of the plate, 0-1. Lewis got a lot of size in that left-handed batter's box. Can play either a corner spot in the infield, but at first today. Runner going, swing and a miss. The pitch low, the throw to second, not in time. Feet first slide for Riker Wake, beats the throw, and so for the second straight inning, Bourne has a runner in scoring position. There's the first stolen base of the season for the Bravos, a team that usually likes to run a lot.
Yeah, had 54 stolen bases in Boca Raton last summer. I would expect Riker to be one of those guys top of the list on this roster in stolen bases.
The 0-2 to Lewis. That's low and drops out of the glove of Conti. He does keep it in front of him. So Waite had nowhere to go, and the count 1-2. We were talking about this yesterday, Devon, but Waite, a guy who's just 5'10", you always know there's something spectacular about him if he's that short. Lewis, a guy like him, he's big. You know he's an athlete.
You could also see that from John LeGrand, too. Probably going to be a similar type of player to Riker Waite as far as what he does in the base path.
The 1-2 pitch did miss upstairs on a fastball, so it's 2-2. Yeah, Cade Lewis, on the other hand, 6'2", 225. You can tell he's an athlete just by looking at him. The lefty stands in the box. Lefty on the mound. McCoy looks back, now deals. Swing and a miss. Made Lewis look silly on an off-speed. Had them extend the arms all the way out as the body went back. And that's strikeout number 7 in just 2 2/3 innings for Jake McCoy. And it brings Braden Holcomb to the plate. He was one of those K victims back in the first inning, went down swinging as Bourne went down 1-2-3 to start off the game. Now Holcomb's got a runner in scoring position. Riker Wake at second, his teammate from Vanderbilt.
McCoy has had his way with the top 3 of this Bourne lineup. Holcomb going to try and break that.
McCoy kicks and deals, misses up and away on a fastball, 1-0. That was pitch number 50 of the outing for McCoy. He's been relatively efficient so far. Definitely more efficient than Josh Gunther, Bourne's starter.
A slower second inning for him, though. That's really where his pitch count probably jumped to where he's now at 50.
1-0, off speed in for a strike. Went with a changeup that time, and the count 1-1. Bourne still trails by 5 here in the top of the third, but a runner in scoring position with Riker Waite. He takes a big lead, being held on the bag by the second baseman, Kunin. Now the runner going. The 1-1 pitch fouled to the backstop. That might have hit the mic again.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to
move. We might just move it. I think we might have to move it.
I'm going to move it in every top inning to right field over the fence.
Okay.
So it attracts balls over the fence instead of in the backstop.
I think that's a good decision there.
Yeah.
Because, man, we are struggling. I mean, it might be broken at some point.
I'm going to have to get an insurance policy on baseball damage for these microphones.
I guess. I mean, this is unbelievable. With the count 1-2 now to Holcomb, trying to keep this top of the third alive. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Jake McCoy with 8 strikeouts in 3 innings, and he strands a runner on second base. So Bourne gets another runner in scoring position, can't bring him home. The Bravos get no hits in this top of the third, no errors in the inning, 1 runner left on base. There'll be a new pitcher coming in for the Bravos when we come back. We'll tell you all about him. You're listening to the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. We're into the bottom of the third inning. Harwich leads Bourne 6-1, and a new starter out, or new pitcher out on the mound, for the Bravos. Replacing the starter, Josh Gunther, is the big right-hander on the mound, Landon White, 6'6", out of Bryant University. We'll start things off against the number 6 hitter for Harwich, Evan Dempsey, out of Florida Gulf Coast, who was hit by a pitch and then came in to score his first time up. First pitch from White is in for a strike, in the count 0-1. White, very lanky, comes exclusively from the stretch, glove at his chin, now deals, slipped as he threw it, and that pitch ran in and hit Dempsey. So the lefty's been to the plate twice, he's been hit twice, and Harwich has its leadoff man on for the second time in 3 innings. By the way, the final line for Josh Gunther, the starting pitcher for the Bravos. He went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. He walked 3 and struck out 2. Threw 52 pitches for just 28 strikes.
But some promising work in that second inning.
Definitely.
Seemed to find his rhythm just a little bit more and get a lot more comfortable.
Kyle Wolf at the plate. First pitch to him, in for a strike on an off-speed 0-1. Wolf, a right-handed hitter, playing first base today. He popped up to the catcher, Jimmy Keenan, his first time up. White on the mound at a 4.37 ERA for the Bryant Bulldogs this past season and 22 innings out of the bullpen. Dempsey active at first. Wolf pops up the pitch straight back over us into the trees as some kids run after the foul ball. Landon White is now ahead in the count 0-2. White has played summer ball in the NECBL each of the past 2 seasons for the Bristol Blues. Was exceptional last year. Had a 1.69 ERA in 16 innings. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That was absolutely disgusting. Ball in the left-handed hitting batter's box as the righty Kyle Wolf had no chance at it.
Not a shot. Pulled a string and really got him there. Excellent pitch.
So Landon White with a nice strikeout, his first of the outing, and it brings up Jake Coonan, the second baseman. Reached on an error and then was stranded at second back in the first inning. White looks over to first and now comes set. Still looking in, now he deals and finds the lower part of the zone on a fastball, 0-1.
I think still getting used to the pitch comm system. Not sure they might have that at Bryant.
Yeah, some schools use it, some schools don't. We do have the pitch clock here in the Cape League. It's at 5 as we'll have to wait for the next pitch as White throws back over to first. White started off his college career at your school. He's a Bomber, Ithaca College.
Go Bombers.
Back in his freshman year at a 3.29 ERA in 13 outings before jumping up to Division I at Bryant.
And what a jump he's made from the illustrious Liberty League to now the Cape League.
Don't see that too often, huh? Throws over to first again, and back in time is the man at first base, Evan Dempsey. Behind the mound, behind the plate, Jeff Kinney, the home plate umpire, telling Landon White that he has to make eye contact with the batter before he pitches. In the field, we've got umpires today, Jeff Merzell and Jeff Bruschetta. The 0-1 pitch is just upstairs, 1-1. So three umpire crew in the Cape League. Of course, the man behind the plate will stay there. The first and third base umpires, as they are officially listed, will rotate a little bit depending on where the runners are. Right now, umpires are at first and second. White looks in, the tall righty kicks and deals, and it's hit high in the air towards right center field. LeGrand, the center fielder, moving under it, waves his hand, makes the catch over his head for out number 2.
Next up, the left fielder from Watford, number 4, Nico Breedy.
A nice bounce back for Landon White after starting his outing with a hit by pitch, gets a strikeout and a fly out to center. Brings up the number 9 hitter, Nico Breedy. He popped up into left field, shallow left field, his first time up. Left-handed hitting Breedy digs in. He's got a very wide stance, Bat on his shoulder and leans back. White looks in, kicks and deals. Swing and a miss on an off speed, 0-1. Unfortunately, our live analytics not working, so we can't give you any of the spin rate, release speed, any of those fun things, but we'll try and get those to you and integrate it into the broadcast as the season goes on.
Just like the baseball, our broadcast should get better, too.
It's a long season. The 0-1 pitch misses and the count 1-1. Bourne down 6-1 here in the bottom of the third inning, and Landon White on the mound trying to limit Harwich to that 6-run mark that they reached in the first inning. Runner on first for the Mariners here with 2 gone. That man is Evan Dempsey. Nico Brini at the plate. Awaits the 1-1 pitch. Here it is. Swing and a miss on an off speed. Runner going towards second. The throw is in time. He got him. Nice play there from Jimmy Keenan to gun down Evan Dempsey. And that does it for the bottom of the third inning. But before we step aside, we have our sideline reporter, Ariel Tamir-Pinsky, joining us for the first time this season. Ariel, I know you've got some things on the pitchers. What do you got for us today?
Well, Adam, one of the things pitching coach Kevin Curtin wanted to drill into his players at his pitching meeting yesterday was having a growth mindset, making sure that their internal dialogue is helping them and not harming them. He wants them to trust the process and count their wins, not harp on their losses. He focused on telling his players to visualize each pitch and see success before you throw. He shared that Jack Penny, a former Brave who was drafted in the 5th round, visualized every at-bat before he pitched. He always said, "I know what everything looks like." Adam?
Ariel, thank you so much. You'll be hearing from Ariel all season long here on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. You can also check us out on YouTube, on Twitter for the pre- and post-game interviews that Ariel will be doing all season long. Might as well keep things with us here as we get into the top of the 4th inning in a moment. And as we do that, I'll hand the play-by-play over to my good friend Devon Jarvis, standing over to my right.
Adam, thank you very much. Should be a fun season to begin. Well, we're here in the top of the 4th inning, and it hasn't been Bourne's game so far, Adam. A 6-1 score as Harwich, as they won in their last matchup in the 2024 Cape League Championship game. They did the same thing there as they're doing here. They're leading. But now it's the Bourne Bats to come back. 1 run in the 2nd inning is all they have to show for themselves. Only 1 hit to go with it as well. We begin with Logan Hughes, a player who we've talked pretty highly of in these first couple innings. A lot of power to him as he commands his spot in left field defensively. First pitch, just inside for McCoy. He'll watch it pass as a fastball comes in. 1-0 to start. Hughes, a guy who's going to need to set into his rhythm here. Late to the 2nd pitch, fouls it off straight above the Harwich dugout on the home side. Got a lot of power to him. Just came off a season at Wake Forest. Very solid player there, batting .376 as he rips one into the center field, left field gap. That one will drop toward the warning track. Rounding for second is Hughes. This could be a play close. Hughes slides in their feet first, and he's safe. Time called as Hughes gets in there laughing about it with his first base coach, but nevertheless, a good job and a great way to begin the 2nd hit of the game for the Braves.
That was a bit of an awkward play overall because first off, it looked like Hughes demolished it. Ball ends up dropping and then not rolling at all to the wall. So where it landed probably could have been a single, and then the throw in was a decent one. Hughes slides a little bit short of the bag and then kind of hops forward. So weird overall, but a double is still a double.
I'm a golf fan myself. It's kind of like when Pinehurst, we've seen with the U.S. Open, gets wet.
Yep.
These balls stick and land. They don't move. Next batter up is Bryce Molinaro. He digs in from the righty's batter's box, watches the first one by in the bottom of the zone, a fastball for a strike. Runner on second is Hughes. He takes a 5-step lead as McCoy works from the stretch, kicks and deals. The 0-1 catches the low outside corner. 0-2 the count.
It's all about just chipping away for Bourne offensively. Get one back here, get another back in another inning or two, and make it a 3-run game entering the last couple innings. Then you have a chance.
Molinaro at Penn State watches the 0-2 upstairs for ball 1. He transferred from St. John's, so another player that Coach Blankmeyer likely could have had an influence to spend his summer in Bourne. No outs at the moment in a 1-2 count. McCoy stares daggers at second base for Hughes and comes home with the pitch. A golf swing for Molinaro. He couldn't get anything on it. A strikeout as he walks back to the dugout. That's the 9th of the day for Jake McCoy.
That's just unbelievable. What an outing that he has had. There's a reason that this guy is a weekend starter in the SEC. I know he had a high ERA, but that's the best conference in the country in college baseball. And he's showing it here, just absolutely dominant through now 3 1/3.
Not bad to show his talents for the number of scouts behind home plate. As the first pitch by LeGrand is watched low of the zone. He'll dig in from the left side. Taps his helmet, digs back in, and holds his choked up battle up above his left shoulder. Next pitch for McCoy. He's late to it. Straight into the fencing on the left field line.
It is a weird batting stance for LeGrand, as you said. Hands above his head. Really old school, but he does a great job of just loading that back leg for all of his power. So it's a lot more compact than it would look.
And he drops that left hip. Has talked about trying to work on that transition between the top of his swing to the bottom. Next pitch he watches by. Inside for ball 2, the count 2-1 with 1 out on the board in the 6-1 ball game. Harwich on defense. They're leading this game by 5, and Hughes hasn't moved since he hit his double into left center field. Just back and forth between his lead spot and second base. Gets a look from McCoy, comes home from the stretch, just snagged by the third baseman in Jaffe as he lines one toward left field and stripped away by Jaffe. An excellent stop at the hot corner.
That's probably a run-saving play there by Jaffe. As you said, went up and just stabbed it out of the air. That was destined to drop into left field and most likely bring home Logan Hughes. That even could have been extra bases with LeGrand's speed, but no, a big out number 2 there, and a chance for McCoy to now get out of this after giving up the leadoff double.
Now it's Weber Niels, the designated hitter, watches the first pitch toward the bottom of the zone, right by his knees for strike 1. 2 outs on the board now after that run-saving play, as you called it, Adam. Exactly right. And Weber Niels, he's holding the red and blue bat, Bourne Braves themed. This one chopped straight up the middle, past the backhanded glove of McCoy, fielded instead by Kunin, but he can't make the play to first. That could go either way if it's an error or a base hit, likely a base hit, and that's what it'll be called.
That's another one where I think that the field conditions really helped Bourne there. Of course, just mentioned on the double by Hughes to lead off this inning, but the ball just died. It wasn't rolling, and so it was a really tough play, and that's why it scored as an infield hit. Not too often you see a catcher get an infield hit, but it gets the job done even if you have to thank the wet grass a little bit.
Got past McCoy a little bit, too. He likely could have had a play defensively on it. Not this time. Now Jimmy Keenan, the catcher, rips one straight back again into our microphone behind home plate. This is just ridiculous.
I mean, it's unbelievable at this point.
Oh wow, as Coop, the
Bat
son
Boy
of our general manager, Bat Boy, slides in to make a great play on the ball. He'll get it. A win for Bourne in that one if we're keeping tally.
First of many Bat Boy races this year.
0-1 the count. As Keenan fouls it back behind the first baseline. Keenan with a great inning-ending throw to second base to catch a man stealing. He was almost late to start his throw, but still threw a laser over there to second to get him in time. 0-2 the count. Here's Keenan from the right side. The pitch comes from McCoy. Just low. Oh, no. We got fooled by the delayed call by home plate umpire Jeff Kinney, but that is a strikeout. And the 10th of the day for Jake McCoy. That'll send things back to the bottom of the 4th and Harwich to bring their bats out as we take a break here on Cape League TV. We'll be right back.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Welcome back to Cape League TV. Devon, Jarvis, and Adam Gotkin with your coverage in the bottom of the 4th inning from White House Field. Thanks for hanging on this Saturday afternoon. It's a cloudy day here from Harwich, and it's been a cloudy day for the Braves so far. They're down 6-1 to the Harwich Mariners as the M's come back up to bat. And leading off for them, Nico Brini. Bats 9th in the lineup, plays left field, and is native to Wofford College. Open stance from the left side as he watches it by for ball number 1. Landon White on the mound had a decent first showing and went 1, 2, 3, you could say. Allowed a runner on, but got thrown out at second. Caught stealing. The 1-0 pitch from the stretch for White. This one ripped out into center. LeGrand charging in, able to make the grab shoulder high. Almost thought that one could have dropped down by both the effort from LeGrand and Brini, but a quick guy like LeGrand in center field is not going to let many balls drop out.
You can tell that some of these guys are still getting a little bit used to these new bats, of course, playing with wood and not metal. So, you know, everything changes a little bit with that. The sound of the bat is different, so it can be hard to tell if you got to run in or out. So that's what we're seeing so far.
Yeah, you talk about that ball hit by a metal bat in the south with warmer temperature, and obviously going further, it could be a completely different outcome. First pitch, a called strike by Jeff Kinney. This one not as delayed as the inning ender in the top of the 4th. 0-1 for the leadoff, or for the top of the order batter, Trey Broussard. Second pitch from the stretch. This one late to it was Broussard. Catches the inside of his bat high to center field. Once again, LeGrand charges 5 steps to make the play in center.
Landon White's doing a really good job of keeping these hitters uncomfortable, keeping them on their toes. That time, Broussard just reached out after that pitch and definitely did not have great footing, didn't have a good base, and just couldn't get any power behind it. So great job of keeping these hitters uncomfortable right now from White.
And forcing them to take a slap at it. Really wasn't a confident swing from Broussard. Here's Harry Feinberg, the right fielder, as he watches the first pitch by. A called ball just high as Feinberg readjusts his left shoulder strap and stands into the righty's batter's box, taking a deep breath. Navy gloves for him. Here's Landon White, a deep breath of his own. From the stretch, fires a breaking ball. It's off the plate on the far side. 2-0 the count with 2 outs. White working very well. Following up Gunther, who didn't have the day he hoped for. 50 pitches, 5 earned runs. The pitch from White. This one catches the outer edge of the zone. 2-1 the count. No runners on at the moment as White looks at his left wrist to select his pitch. Will put the ball in his blonde leather glove, reach for it, and hold it chin high. A deep breath and a kick from the stretch. Well located, bottom right of the zone, squares up the count at deuces.
It's been the biggest difference so far. White has been able to locate these pitches. That's now 12 strikes on 18 pitches. That was the issue for the starter, Gunther. White can now throw strikes, and that's what Scott Landers always says. I only care if you throw strikes.
There's the command. We asked Coach Landers what Gunther was going to throw as far as his arsenal, as this one's found back behind the first base dugout, over the hills and far away for our Led Zeppelin fans.
I asked Coach Landers, you know, what does Josh throw? He said, hopefully strikes. That's really the mindset with this staff, is they just hope that you throw the ball over the plate, limit walks, limit free passes. We saw that hurt them in the first.
The pitch, a weak foul ball behind home plate. This one keeps Feinberg in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes at the moment. Wind is blowing in from center field. That's maybe pretty apparent with a lot of the center field putouts we've seen so far as White fires again on the 2-2. A slap out into right field. Charging in is Holcomb. He makes the grab at his hip. An inning ender. And the Bourne Braves have shut out the Mariners for 3 straight innings, but it's still that 6th-run first that is hanging over their heads with lots of damage. We'll send things to another break as we enter the top of the 5th inning when we come back. Thanks for staying with us and hanging on this Saturday afternoon. We'll see you after a moment.
From the University of Richmond, number 35.
You can dream it. If you can cruise in it. If you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Welcome back here to White House Field. Top of the fifth inning between the Braves and the Mariners. It's a 6-1 ball game in favor of Harwich as Bourne steps into the batter's box to cut the deficit from 5 runs to whatever they can do to make this a closer game. First batter for the Braves as he takes strike 1 is White. He bats from the left side, chokes up on his lefty bat, and watches it by. 1-0 the count. The second pitch. Straight down Broadway. Squares it up at 1 apiece. Now the Braves found 1 run in the second inning, have had none since then, and have left a couple batters stranded. Just 2 innings ago, a man on first and third as the pitch comes 1-1, now makes 1-2, a called strike at the bottom of the zone. Riker did a good job in the base path last time he was here in the third. Got on with a hit by pitch, and then to second with a stolen back. The 1-2, outside on the breaking ball. Jake McCoy been excellent today. 70 pitches now as he's into the 5th inning. Not super efficient, or as efficient as you'd hope, but everything else he's doing right as he skips a pitch in the dirt. Collected in the backstop by Conti, and a full count now. But what a showing we've seen, Adam, from McCoy. 10 strikeouts, no earned runs. It's been really terrific as White slaps one grounded down to the first base dugout. That'll keep him in this at-bat.
Well, that's all you can ask for and more. I mean, especially here on the Cape League, length from your pitchers is so much, and start the season with a guy who could, do that, go 4 innings and just be as dominant as he was just so impressive.
From the stretch, here's McCoy. It's a ball on the outside edge. That'll send Riker once again to the base path. Second time today.
Top of the order for the Braves, the shortstop from Alabama.
Braves faithful getting a little loud. Heard the bell just a moment ago, a classic and a staple of this Braves fan base.
Oh, it always is, but now at the plate, this team really has to take advantage. This is the 3rd straight inning with a leadoff runner on. No runs the first 2 times, even though they both got into scoring position, so now you got to make them pay.
A check at first as Riker dives head first, and he'll get in there safely after A tag on his back leg. It's Justin LeBron who digs in from the right side, close to the plate in the back of the batter's box. McCoy ducks down and fires. This one hammered out into center field. It's a pretty easy grab for Broussard as he does it over his right shoulder and sends LeBron 0 for 3 back to the dugout. 2 strikeouts and a flyout.
Yeah, you know, it's a long season, but definitely a bit of a disappointing start here for LeBron with those 2 Ks and a flyout. So everyone else has to pick him up. You know, there's a lot of eyes on him, top of the lineup, a guy who, I mean, we've talked about a lot, but, you know, he struggles first game. That's just baseball. Everyone else now has to pick him up, and especially this guy, Cade Lewis, who has also struck out twice today.
Quite a long season, as we've talked about, Adam. McCoy really working well against these top 3 batters. Struck LeBron, Lewis, and Holcomb out all times in those first 2 times at the plate. Lewis watches the first pitch by below the strike zone as once again Wade is getting some checks at first base. It's a 6-1 ball game. Harwich up by 5, another check at first. Wade kind of getting the attention of McCoy after he stole a bag back in the 3rd. Now he'll take his 3-step lead. McCoy comes set at his chest. On the 1-0, kicks and fires. Pitch slaps over the fence in left field, foul, and that will square the count at 1-1. 1 run on 3 hits for Bourne. 6 runs on only 2 hits for Harwich.
Ooh, that's not good.
This pitch down the 3rd baseline, gets caught on the grass, but goes in the outfield. Riker Waite storms past second base. He'll step on the brakes, and now runners on 1 and 2 as Cade Lewis gets his first hit as a member of the Bourne Braves.
That's just a beautiful piece of hitting by Lewis. You get an off-speed low and away as a lefty, and you send it right back where it came from. Great job to just stick through it, poke it the other way, down the line. If it's dry out and the grass wasn't stopping the ball, that could have been extra bases, but either way, that's a great piece of hitting now, and you bring up a guy who is due.
Has that baby blue bat from the righty's batter's box in ice white gloves. Runners on 1 and 2. Let's see if the Braves can do some damage. McCoy gives a look at second, comes home from the stretch. Braden Holcomb watches it by and doesn't love the call, but he'll have to deal with it. 0-1 with 1 out on the board, and Harwich still up by 5. Winds picking up here, blowing in from left field in the top of the 5th inning.
It's getting chilly.
Quite cold as the pitch comes. A half swing from Holcomb. Looks to the first base umpire, and that'll be a called strike as Jeffrey Merzel makes this call.
Now how does Holcomb adjust? 2-strike count, gets a call he doesn't like, and then a check swing. This is a big mental pitch.
0-2 the pitch. This one slapped toward right field. It will hook foul.
That's what you like to see. Good defensive by Holcomb, not trying to chase anything. Doesn't change anything down 0-2 after 2 frustrating pitches, just keeps that same approach.
0-2 count here for McCoy. He's had a long inning himself. Only 1 out on the board with runners on 1 and 2. Holds the ball behind his back as he looks for this call from Conti. Now comes set from the stretch. Fires. Grounded 3rd base. Picked up by Jaffe. Looks at second. Makes the throw. Gets it in time. The one at first not in time. Riker White, as the ball gets past at first, will storm it home as the Braves get their 2nd run of the day. Coonan couldn't quite make an accurate throw into first base. The pick there by Wolf wasn't clean. And that will, I guess, do its job and get a run on the board for the Braves here in the 5th.
It's not a pretty run, but I love it, especially early in the season. I absolutely love that. Braden Holcomb, full speed down the line, full hustle, and if he's not hustling, that's an out, and the run doesn't score. You need to get runs back. You do it by doing stuff like that.
Put pressure on the middle of the infield, which he did so well. 2 outs now, and the score 6-2 as the new batter is Logan Hughes. The left fielder didn't have success in his first at-bat, but how about him in the 4th inning as a check comes over for Holcomb at first. He'll dive in head first safely. Had a great hit into left field down the line. Here's the pitch from McCoy, the 1-0. Way high. Holcomb going for second. A feet first dive, and he gets in there safely. A bang-bang play as Becker was late with the tag.
That's a nice delayed steal by Holcomb. He doesn't look like he's a guy with a lot of speed, 6'5", almost 240, but he does. This is a football player playing baseball. He mentally is a football player. He said that he would love to play football. He's an athlete.
Pitch comes in, 3-0 the count against Hughes. A little less production now for McCoy. As he has a 3-0 count, have to work himself out. The pitch. This one just inside, as Hughes will trot his way to first base. Runners on 1 and 2 for the Braves. And Bryce Molinaro, who struck out twice, will look to take advantage of it. Now, it was called an error on Jake Coonan at second base to eventually score Riker Waite.
Really surprised that wasn't just a fielder's choice. With how slow the grass is, there wasn't much time for the infield to try and turn that 5-4-3 double play.
The grass is real slow, too. Aspect we haven't really talked about deeply, but take a short intermission on the field as McCoy's going to get a little conversation going. It seems like Jeff Kinney's also going to join.
This is a really important point in this game, Devon. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. You're down by 4, so this game is still in reach, but you got to start getting them back now. You already have 1 across in this inning. Can you put a crooked number up? Can you get a big inning? Harwich scored 6 in the first and hasn't had a hit since its 3rd batter of the game because they had a big inning. That's what you got to do here.
A 4-run deficit sounds a lot different than 3 or 2 as Molinaro watches the first one by. It's a called strike in the center of the zone.
And as silly as it may sound, if you're down big when it gets dark out and people start to file out, it's harder than if you're down big early in the game. Of course, you also have more time left.
McCoy looks at second. Holcomb dancing. The pitch home under the bat of Molinaro. A swinging strike 2. As the count's 0-2 with 2 on the board. 2 outs, rather, on the board. And Holcomb joining Hughes in the base path on first and second. The pitch. High. That one will go over first base and into the woods. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Molinaro looking for his first hit as a Brave. The pitch. Out into center field. A good spot by Broussard, back by the warning track. He trots in, makes the grab, and ends the inning. The Braves can't capitalize on the base runners and will send things back to Logan White with the ball to keep this defense rolling. 3 consecutive innings of scoreless baseball for the Bourne Braves on defense. Can they keep it up? Find out when we come back as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the rental source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
Welcome back to White House Field on Cape League TV. It's Devon Jarvis alongside Adam Gotkin for your coverage of Bourne Braves baseball as they're down by 4 after picking up a run in the 5th. It's Landon White still on the mound. He goes against Eric Becker, watching the first pitch in for a called strike. Adam, this Bourne team not quite capitalizing on offense, but the defense has been strong.
Yeah, they've bounced back ever since that 6th spot in the first inning, but the offense, 4 straight innings, stranding runner in scoring position.
The pitch by Landon White, just off the outside edge. It's a 1-1 count with no outs on the board as the sky's getting a little darker. Started out cloudy, but this game will go into the night. Get even chillier than it is right now. Was a real feel 50 when we began this game.
Yeah, I'm chilly.
The 1-1. A chop swing, but catches the zone nonetheless. 1-2.
I've got pants and a nice sweatshirt on. You must be really struggling.
Yeah, you and I, we go to school in central New York. I'm me, Ithaca, you Syracuse. The temperature is like this in the summer, so we're used to it as the pitch gets fouled back into the fencing behind home plate.
The breeze gets you, though. You know, we're not far away from the ocean, so there's always a breeze, and you always just get that chill.
That's the worst. I'm a skier myself. You're a snowboarder, so we kind of got that going for us.
Used to the cold, but it's still chilly.
It'll get you. The 1-2 from White. From the stretch, he pitches it high. That'll square things up at deuces.
Some of these guys aren't used to it. You know, the players from Florida, they play in the SEC all season. They never go up north. There are some guys where this is some of the coldest temperature they've ever played in, which especially for pitchers can make an impact. A little bit less velocity.
Some guys will wear sweats and a sweatshirt in the 70s, used to the 90s, as a chop swing catches a piece of the ball and goes back into the glove of Keenan. A strikeout for White. Good start to the inning. White's been phenomenal.
Yeah, just said this at the last inning with Jake McCoy. For him to get 4 innings was really important for Harwich. For Bourne, for Landon White now to come in and get some length out of the bullpen is huge, especially after your starter goes just 2 innings. It's such an important thing in the Cape League. Can you extend your pitchers?
First pitch outside against Matt Conti. Conti so far got on with a walk in the first and scored. Flew out to center in the second. White used to the cold weather. He spent a year at Ithaca. As he comes set at his chin and fires this one. High out into right field, it'll slice foul. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here from White House Field. And infield playing the righty straight up. Middle infield at double play depth. Other than that, everything's standard. White fires. This one going high and foul once again. Landon getting some cheers from the Bourne faithful as he looks at his left wrist, gets the pitch. 1-2 the count as he's looking for another punch out. Just got his second. From the stretch, just low. A frame attempt by Keenan, not quite convincing enough. 2-2 the count.
Always a nice Bourne traveling crowd. Usually the biggest traveling contingent of any team in the league.
One to rival the Harwich home crowd.
Without a doubt.
2-2. Chopped down the first base line. It trails foul. Lengthy at bat here. It is working up the pitch count of White. He's at 31 right now. But 22 of those strikes. He's been efficient. The 2-2 pitch in the zone. Soft grounder to shortstop. LeBron fields with his left. An outside throw to first in time. And there's that bell once again. Hopefully the rally that the Bourne Braves need to keep this going. No balls, no strikes, 2 outs. And next up to bat is Jordan Jaffe. First pitch in the zone. White doing a great job so far, as we've mentioned. The Bourne defense solid for these last 3 2/3. Next pitch toward right field, but it'll tail foul once again. These righties batters quite a bit late to Landon White so far, which is what you like to see, especially with a pitcher like him who's had a solid school in Bryant, but not the best, and has worked his way up from the trenches of the South Hill to the place you want to be during the summer. Inside pitch, an easy watch for Jaffe.
There's definitely no lack of confidence out there for White. First time in this league can be tough for some guys, not for him.
Hasn't showed any ounce of inexperience as the next pitch comes low. 3-1 the count, one of the few times we've seen him behind in the count. No one in the base path right now for Harwich in the 6-2 ball game. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's the pitch from White from the stretch. Only oxygen for Jordan Jaffe. A swing and a miss to bring the count full. Brings himself back in the at-bat. And here's White looking for an 8th straight putout. The payoff pitch, here it comes. Foul tipped back into the glove of Keenan. A great 3 innings from Landon White as he continues to storm on here at White House Field. We'll once again have our coverage from Ariel Tamir-Pinsky with more on this game so far. Ariel, what do you have?
Thanks, Adam. It was just announced a few days ago that 2 former Braves would be inducted into the Cape Cod Baseball League Hall of Fame. Bob Steed, a former manager of the Braves, and Travis Jankowski. Jankowski played 2 seasons with the Braves, winning the Pat Sorrenti League MVP award in 2011, leading the league that season with 57 hits and 31 runs. He also recorded 7 triples that season, tying the second all-time in the league, and was named an all-league outfielder. He was selected by the San Diego Padres in the first round of the 2012 MLB draft, and he currently is an outfielder with the Tampa Bay Rays. The induction ceremony will be in November for both these former Braves. Devon?
Great to see the success from Bourne players beyond their Cape career. We'll send things back to a break for just about a minute. Be back for the top of the 6th. Back at White House Field, you're listening to Bourne Braves and Harwich Mariners baseball on Cape League TV. Devon, Jarvis, and Adam Gotkin with your coverage. Now the top of the 6th inning. It's Harwich with 6, Bourne with 2, and John LeGrand up to the plate for the Braves from the left side. Still in the game is Jake McCoy. He's gone 5 strong, looking to keep it going. Rather instead, Ryan Bilka. He's been in for last inning, now this inning too. As a pitch gets chopped at by LeGrand at the bottom of the zone, only air for him, 1-1 the count. Pitching change just 1 inning ago. Our apologies, didn't catch that. Next one, way high, above the head of LeGrand. Bilka out of Richmond. Just spent a season there. 6-2 record with an astounding 2.18 ERA. Didn't start any games, but did well as a reliever as LeGrand puts one down the first baseline. Picked up by Wolf. A flip to Bilka. He's safe and beats the play. Excellent job. There's those wheels on a showcase for those Braves fans that they're going to be seeing all season long.
You love it. Second time this game that there's been a play at first that hustle has won it for the Bravos, and that's what you need. When you're down, when you go down big early, you want to see this hurt. You want to see these guys continue to fight, and that's not at all an issue right now.
They're staying in this game. That mentality is high, despite a lot of the errors we saw earlier in this game. They're keeping it going. How about Weber Niels? He's been on the base path twice, both with hits. As a check at first comes in, diving safely is LeGrand. Some scores from around the area. We'll get you those in just a moment as the next pitch comes in, or the first pitch of the at-bat comes into Weber Niels. It's Brewster and YD in the top of the 7th. Brewster leading by 3. Harwich, of course, up 6 against us, and Wareham 1-1 against Hyannis. Orleans and Katuitt. Katuitt's up by 2, and Chatham and Falmouth are both tied in the bottom of the first inning. Low pitch to make it a 1-1 count against Weber Niels.
Some late starts, but overall, a whole lot of low-scoring games. This is the only one where there's a team with more than 2 runs.
The pitch low. Not a strike, and stealing is LeGrand safely into second. Those wheels once again as he adjusts his helmet and gets in there safely. Just a late throw by Conti.
That's already 3 steals in this game for Bourne. Not a surprise. Scott Landers always loves his guys to be aggressive on the base paths. Always has the green light on.
Hasn't got caught stealing yet. Waite, Holcomb, and LeGrand, the 3 to do so. 3-1 the count as the pitch comes low. No outs on the board and a man on second in LeGrand.
Let's see what the bottom of the order can do here. It's, a little bit interesting. Yes, it's the bottom of the order, but we don't really know who's doing what yet. So, maybe this bottom of the order is the best bats right now.
Seems like it by the score sheet so far. Bilka fires outside off the plate. And for the 3rd straight time, we see Weber Niels in the base path. A player who's draft eligible come July, has spent his time at Minnesota as a Gopher in his home state.
You just notice the difference now with this new pitcher in for Harwich. The first 4 innings, it was pure domination for McCoy. No walks. He struck out 10. Gave up just 3 hits now in an inning, and the start of this 6th, 1 inning, 2 hits, 3 walks. This is really struggling for Bilka, but this is the Cape League. New pitcher comes in, and everything can change.
On the other side, too, White comes in, and the Bourne Braves have been outstanding defensively.
Games are never over.
New batter in Jimmy Keenan. Struck out last time, was the 10th strikeout of the day for Jake McCoy. That was the inning ender in the 4th. Now here he is in the 6th, looking to capitalize with runners in scoring position. 0-1. Bilka misses low and outside. And now for the 5th straight time, we've seen Bourne with a runner at least on second base. None of those times have they been able to capitalize on it. The 1-1. Bilka gets the swing and miss. Grand to third base. He's caught stealing an out. Tries for it there. Got a good jump, but just a great placed throw by Conti. And that will send LeGrand back to the dugout. The first time we've seen someone caught stealing in this game.
I don't mind the aggressiveness, the double steal on a 1-1 pitch. With no outs, you're down big.
You need to get some runs on the board.
Yeah, especially with speedy guys. I don't mind it.
This one rocketed out into right field. That one drops. Looking to come home is Niels. He puts the brakes on in third. A smart decision, as he would not have been safe. But a great base hit for Keenan to get his first as a Brave.
Well, that's where you really wish you didn't go with the double steal, because there's no doubt that LeGrand scores from second with his speed, but Niels not as fast, and he didn't get a good jump either. So that's why Scott Landers made the wise decision to hold him at third. But you keep this offense going, you need at least one here. Runners on the corners, 1 out, got to get at least 1 back.
These bats are rolling so far. 7 of your last 9 batters have reached the base path. Only 1 run to show for it so far. Called strike against Riker Waite. He scored in the 5th. Was a leadoff batter that inning. 0-1 for Bilka. Just came off his junior season at Richmond. He fires high. Brim level of Riker weight.
You say 7 of the last 9 batters. That's the 9 batters that Bilka has seen. So this is a completely different thing than what Jake McCoy was doing earlier. McCoy just steamrolling, and Bilka can't get outs.
Hasn't looked comfortable so far in any of these at-bats. No strikeouts. All of his putouts are either in the base path or flyouts. The pitch, a called strike 2. 1-2 with 1 out. Runners on first and third. Weber Neals at third, Jimmy Keenan at first. Bilka comes set at chest, fires a fastball, lifted out into left field, charging in under it is Brini. He makes the grab. Tagging up from third is Neals. The throw is off pace, and there is Neals to score. Now a 3-run ball game, and the RBI sacrifice fly from Riker Waite is to much use.
Good piece of hitting. Send the ball into the outfield with a runner on third, and without 2 outs, that's all you got to do. Brings home that run, and now you're back into it. 3-run game in the top of the 6th inning. You're confident that you can come back and win. But it's time to keep the rally going. 2 outs. This team has been able to hit against Bilka. I imagine this will be the end after this inning, so you need another hit here.
First pitch outside against LeBron. LeBron, an underwhelming start to his career as a Bourne Brave. 0 for 3 so far. A strikeout looking, 1 swinging, and a fly out to center field. They need him here with a runner on second in Keenan. The 1-0 pitch from Bilka. Called strike on the outside edge. 18 appearances for Bilka as a Spider. No games started. So he's mainly a reliever, has those duties here, and is still looking to find his rhythm from White House Field. He hasn't done it so far. Wind picking up now. You can probably hear it in the microphones. From left field down to home plate is the line. Bilka comes set from the stretch. Looks at second. Now comes home. Another called strike on the outer edge. Both of the ones called against LeBron so far in that same spot.
Harwich does have a lefty, Adam Arthur, warming up in the bullpen right now, so this probably could be it for Bilka with the left-hander on deck if he doesn't get out of it.
They need him here. The 1-2. Chopped foul down on home plate and rolls into the backstop. No race between the bat boys on that one. Harwich wins. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jimmy Keenan on second base. The runner that can make this a 2-run ball game. Bilka looks at second and fires. That one a called strike 3. LeBron didn't even think about swinging at it. And he'll get the drop third strike out at first base. Not the start you want for the Alabama native. We'll send things to another break here in the mid-6th. We'll come back with Harwich back on the mound, or back in the batter's box against Landon White.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Welcome back to White House Field. Thanks for spending your Saturday evening with Adam and I. It's a 3-run ball game. Braves are clawing their way back. 1 run in the second, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth to make it a 6-3 score with Harwich on top. They'll come back here in the sixth looking to do some damage. Haven't done anything for 4 innings now as a new pitcher is on the mound for the Braves. We'll have more on that in just a moment. It's Lou Marinaro, lefty with a menacing stance from the rubber. He fires again, just low. Just spent his seasons, 3 seasons now at St. John's. Not a experienced summer ball player, but back in 2023 was with Pittsfield in the FCBL. But just this past season, had a 1-1 record with a 5.97 ERA as he slips one past Dempsey to make it a 1-2 count. In his season as a sophomore was all Big East second team. That year he had a 3.3 ERA. A great season for him. Not quite the production you hope in 2025, Adam, but still could be a useful arm for this Braves team following up a fantastic performance by Landon White. Count 2-2.
Yeah, he's put in a lot more high leverage situations this past year, so that's why the ERA is a little bit higher, but a guy with really good stuff from the left side.
The 2-2 pitch from the stretch. This one rocketed straight back up center. No doubt about that one. Legrand fields with his bare hand in center field. And a base hit comes on for Evan Dempsey. One they haven't seen in quite a while. Their first hit, believe it or not, since the first inning.
Yeah, first hit since the 3rd batter of the game. Yet they still lead 6-3, and that's a hit that this team really needed, especially with Bourne's offense starting to get rolling. 3 runs unanswered. Now here comes Harwich, so it's important for Marinaro to keep this here. Keep it at a 3-run game to give your team a chance.
Marinaro, a really solid pitcher. Let's see how he can hang in here. Runner on first as he gives a gaze over and comes home with the pitch. Kyle Wolf, the batter in, watches it by for a called strike. Kyle Wolf, a guy so far, hasn't quite found it. A pop-up behind home plate and a strikeout as well. Another gaze at second. Coming home is Molinaro, grounded to shortstop. A quick flip by LeBron, tossed to second, waits throw to first in time. A smooth double play. And just like that, the bases are cleared.
That's huge. That's massive. You give up a leadoff single, get it back right away. 6-4-3 double play. You see the smoothness of LeBron at short, the easy flip. That's a good throw, too, from Waite to get the out at first. It's perfect.
An amazing play right there. I think with what we haven't seen from LeBron in the batter's box, we've seen it defensively. Such a smooth player makes it look effortless.
Reminds you of Merrick Houston last season.
Pitch just low against the new batter in Jake Coonan. Coonan also hasn't quite found the success so far. Got on in the first with an error, but since then, no appearances in the base path. The count 1-0 for Molinaro. Holds his glove high and fires from the windup. A called strike in the bottom of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Night getting darker here, and the time for Bourne to come back dwindling as well. Here in the bottom of the 6th, they're chipping away just 1 run at a time. The 1-1 pitch. Fouled over the third base dugout. We'll do it again, 1-2. Final tally for White, 3 innings pitched. No hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 Ks. Exactly what you're asking for from a reliever.
Perfect.
The 1-2. Just nips some dirt as it reaches the glove of Keenan behind home plate. An easy watch by for Coonan.
This is just such a weird part of the season for these coaches. They don't know what they're getting in these pitchers, so it's a lot of trial and error early on. White with a great first outing.
2-2. This one out into right field. It'll drop in shallow right field. Go toward the chalk as Kunin rounds for second. Trips up. Seems like he may have sprained an ankle on the way there, but could have been a double. That's cut short.
Ankles look to be okay. I think what happened was Kunin took about 3 or 4 steps beyond first base. It wasn't a full turn. He kind of stopped, jumped towards his left, and then stopped again, which can just be a little bit uncomfortable for his legs. I don't think there's any ankle thing, maybe just
That's
a
good.
quick hamstring tweak, but he seems to be okay just walking it off. But definitely awkward where that ball was placed in no man's land, just a kind of back and forth there from the man running Kunin. Well, he looks to be okay.
It was a close one there. Definitely an awkward ball where you don't know if you can get to second fast enough, and by the time he planted his foot without the real round around first base, it was a tough play to make.
Exactly, and the trainer coming out now to just make sure that Kunin's okay. Definitely it looked awkward at first. You never want to see the guy pull up and, kind of tell that there's some sort of hamstring issue. And that's actually going to be the end of the day for Kunin. He's walking back to the dugout, and there's going to be a pinch runner coming in for Harwich.
And he'll be replaced by Shintaro Inoue.
Returning for the Mariners, number 2.
Inoue comes from Yamaguchi, Japan, plays at Kansas State. Not going to be the only Japan native in Cape Cod this summer. Rintaro Sasaki, a great player, playing for Katuitt, the all-time home run leader for Japanese high school players. Pitch comes high as Inoue was thinking about second, doesn't go, and the new batter here is Nico Brini.
We'll have some fun throughout this season. I want you to try and pronounce Inoue's high school right now, Devon.
Okay.
It's about 20 letters, and none of them should be back and forth.
Takagawa Kakuen.
There you go. It's more better than I could do.
That's pretty good. The 1-0 fouled above the third base dugout, and Hook's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Inoue is going to try and do some damage on the base path here. Speedier guy, shorter in frame at 5'8", 190. In the batter's box, it's back to Brini. He's flown out to left and center so far. The 1-1. Straight down Broadway. Gets the called strike. Not a thought from Brini to swing. Marinero back in summer ball in 2023 had a 7.636 ERA in 8 relief appearances. As the 1-2 comes high. He's really a player you don't know what to expect from. You're kind of going to figure it out as the season goes on. He's earned this spot in the Cape League, not only for his 2025 season, but also what he did in 2024 in his 22 relief appearances, earning that All-Big East second team. As the 2-2 grounded down toward first base. A quick pick by Lewis. He'll step on first base himself and make the out. But a harmless inning for the Braves as they continue to limit the offense of the Mariners. We'll send things to the 7th inning when we come back. Stay with us.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
White Forest, number 23, Kate Lewis.
Back here from White House Field, it's Devon, Jarvis, and Adam Gotkin on your coverage. New pitcher on the mound in Adam Arthur out of Kansas State. The batter he faces is Cade Lewis. Steps in from the left side, got a hit just last time. As he watches two pitches by, both a called ball. Adam Arthur spending his time at Kansas State. A pretty solid resume in his last two seasons, both at Kansas State and then at Elizabethton in the Appalachian Summer League. 1.58 ERA there as one slapped into shallow center field by Lewis. Centering under it is Kunin to make the grab.
That's actually Inoue after the pinch running.
That's right. Kunin out of the game. Inoue here.
Already making things confusing on us, Devon.
Right.
Game one, and we got infield changes.
Give me something to, work up to here. You're laying it all on me now. Now it's back to Braden Holcomb. Did a great job at extending that fifth inning where the Braves got their second run of the ball game after beating out a run at first. An error called for him, though. First pitch is low. Last season at Kansas State, Arthur had a 3.16 ERA in 21 relief appearances. He's been extremely efficient. Called strike on the second pitch. 0-2 against Holcomb here. A lot of the strikes against Holcomb so far have been called.
This is a really weird arm angle by Arthur. The lefty almost sidearm, not easy to hit at all.
The 0-2, golfed foul.
And Arthur in general just looks really funky out there. I'm not sure if it's the high socks or just how baggy his pants are, but he seems to have some of the longest legs I've ever seen for a pitcher. It's almost like spider legs, and it goes sidearm. It's a funky, funky delivery. That's got to be an uncomfortable AB.
He doesn't look like it from the 100 feet we are away from him, but he is 6'4", 175.
He could be like 6'7".
The pitch skips off home plate. It's 2-2 now.
And Arthur's also doing this weird thing on the mound where he's almost leaning back as he's waiting for the pitch. He's got his knees forward, his chest back. So he's like, you see what I mean? He's kind of curved, Devon. It's a weird,
a chill stance.
Yeah, it's a very weird stance.
The 1-2. This one popped up foul over the third base dugout and into the trees. Holcomb doing a good job staying in this at-bat.
I mean, I'm just in awe of Arthur. I mean, he also has sleeves on because it's cold, but they're loose sleeves. Usually you see guys wear compression shirts.
Looks like Ted Williams, but a pitcher and taller and skinnier.
Yeah, he's got the stirrups too.
Yep.
I mean, he's got it all. I know Kansas State in general is a school with a lot of funky guys. Harwich had a guy last year who was a lefty sidearmer.
As the 1-2 comes in just outside, good eye from Holcomb.
It's kind of what they do. Manhattan, Kansas, you have to recruit some guys who are interesting, and if you've got this wild sidearm delivery that Arthur was, you might as well go all into the funkiness and way too baggy of pants and high socks.
A completely different look than what I'm sure Holcomb's used to. The 2-2 rocketed in the gap between first and second. How about Holcomb's first hit of the year? Great job for him. Has had a solid game so far on both sides of the ball. You need those hits to get these rallies going, Adam. We've seen 5 straight innings before this one where the Braves have stranded a runner, at least one, in scoring position.
It's all too familiar for Bourne fans, too. Last year, that was the name of the game so many times.
New batter in there is Logan Hughes. He's also had a pretty solid game for himself, too. His last 2 plate appearances, a double and a walk.
The issue for Bourne last year.
Called strike 1.
It was really a lack of power that made it so there were so many guys in scoring position. They just struggled to hit doubles, struggled to get guys to third, and only 1 extra base hit so far today. We're seeing it again.
The 1-1 lone outside against Hughes. He'll wipe off his cleats in the lefty's batter's box. And now a different approach for Adam Arthur in these past couple pitches and at-bats, at least him and Holcomb. Not quite what we saw in the first one. As this one's hammered out into center field. Broussard seems to have an eye under it in center. He makes the grab. With some different wind and different temperature, we could have seen that one go over the fence. Not this time. And now 2 outs on the board as Bryce Molinaro comes up to bat.
Yeah, I really wish we were getting our exit velocity and exit angle and all those stats that we'll have for you all in the future tonight, because off the bat, that one sounded really good. It seemed like it had a lot of power behind it, but ball just died in center field. Seems like it's going to be hard to hit one out today.
Just hit a little high, too. Not the ideal launch angle. Arthur fires against Molinaro and misses low and outside for his first pitch of the at-bat. 2 outs on the board. Holcomb's stuck at first. Wants to move in the base path. Saw him steal a bag last time he was on. A 1-0 just below the zone, called for a strike. Probably could have gone either way. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs here in the 7th. 6-5 the score, Harwich up. The pitch to third base, backhanded by Jaffe. He taps his glove, fires across the diamond, and gets the out. An easy inning for new pitcher Adam Arthur. Makes clean work of the Braves and brings his bats back up to bat. Harwich in the bottom of the 7th, as we will enjoy your Take Me Out to the Ball Game 7th inning stretch.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Back here on Cape League TV, it's the bottom of the 7th inning. We've got you here for these final 2.5, or what could be more. The Braves trying to make their comeback, go scoreless in the top of the 7th, but come here on defense with Harwich up to bat. 3-6 the score in this ball game. As we return here, Trey Broussard, top of the order, the first batter. The pitch just inside. It's Marinero, the pitcher for the Braves. Has got a great Italian name, Marinero. Like you got Marinara
Perfect
in the name,
for St. John's.
And Lou in the first name. I mean, how can you get much better than that? Foul ball hits the backstop. That one actually didn't hit our microphone.
No, just above.
For our listeners earlier in the broadcast, you heard quite a few probably not pleasant sounds.
You think Lou Marinero's got a Rick Pitino type white suit?
You know, that's a great question. I don't know if he's much of a suit guy, but I can see him having, like, just the wife beater and the chain and have it all.
Tracksuit.
Yeah. Ball chopped. Foul down the first base line. That'll be foul ball and 1-2 the count.
Well, you can see Marinero's got a chain flopping out, nice long hair. He fits the Italian
does.
St. John's look well.
bet his host family is blessed with some great cooking.
Forget about it. That's my best Italian
Yeah?
you get. Yeah.
There
no.
we go. Take it easy. Second pitch, a ball. Rather, fourth pitch, a ball. 2-2 the count. You know, I've spent a good amount of time around Italians, being near New York. One of my good friends up at school's Italian.
Okay.
You and Maryland, maybe not as much. 2-2. A hard hit ball foul to the third base dugout. Am I wrong?
There's some. We've got our Italians in Syracuse.
Okay.
Syracusa. Is the
Yeah, there we
original,
go.
The Sicily.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, pizza, pasta. I feel like I'm well versed in Italian culture.
Well, you know,
spaghetti and meatballs.
the best pizza in the entire world comes from Connecticut, so I got that going for us. Another foul ball chopped toward the first base dugout. 2-2 it remains. Getting some questions from our producer here if I really mean the best pizza in the world. Yes, New Haven pizza is the best in the world.
I've never tried true New Haven pizza, but I think I'd believe it. I'm a thin crust guy, and I know that's their thing.
Dave Portnoy, the pizza connoisseur native to Boston, as well agrees. The 2-2 just nicks Broussard. It was a good at-bat for Marinero until right then. He'll take his base at first. And now for the second straight inning, we have a leadoff base runner for the Mariners.
That's the fourth hit by pitch of
Next
this
up,
game by
Ian
the
Husky from
Bravo
North
staff.
Number 13, Harrison.
That was a bit of an awkward one. Broussard tried to jump out of the way. He almost left his feet trying to go backwards, but ball bounced off his chest and then towards the glove of the catcher, Keenan. That was really far inside. He probably would have had a better chance jumping forward to have it not miss him.
Runner on first in Broussard. It's Harry Feinberg from the righty's batter's box. Next, the pitch from Marinero. Nice breaking ball settling in there for a called strike. No outs on the board in the 3-run ball game. Bourne right now 3 runs on 7 hits. Harwich 6 runs on 4 hits, both with 2 errors. Marinero gazes at first, comes home, another curveball, a called strike 2, or a swung on strike 2.
Feinberg just way out in front of that pitch. He's got a really closed stance, that front foot way in front of that back foot. You see him kind of extend it a little bit more here with that 2-strike approach.
The 0-2. Fastball just off the outer edge. Will stick in here at 1-2 with no outs and a man on first. Broussard has not been in the base path since he led off the game in the first inning with a double and then scored. See if you can do it again. Pickoff attempt, doesn't need to dive, just takes 2 steps back in there safely and a soft toss back from Lewis to Marinero on the rubber. Marinero looking at his right wrist like a wristwatch for his pitch. Brings the glove to his chin and fires from the stretch. Runner goes, called ball. At second, ball comes loose as Riker Waite couldn't quite get the glove on it. Probably would have been safe nonetheless. And now the count squared up at 2-2.
Yeah, it was a well-placed throw by Keenan. Almost too well-placed. If it was about a second earlier, it would have been legitimately perfect, but where it was, it hit the runner, Broussard, right on his left hip, so he's kind of walking it off now. That does not feel good, but a good jump from Broussard on an off-speed as well. If that's a fastball up high, maybe it's closer with how good of a throw it was, but that's a fast guy on the base paths, and he just flat-out beat the throw.
2-2 now for Feinberg. The pitch. Fastball lifted behind home plate and into foul territory. We'll do it again. The count 2-2 for Feinberg. He's been sent back to the dugout these past 2. Here's the 2-2. A long look at second. Pitch in the dirt. That will send Broussard all the way to third. And bring the count full.
It's the second wild pitch already of this game. It's these self-inflicted errors that have really, really hurt Bourne. Those 6 runs in the first inning. You had 2 walks, 2 batters hit, a couple errors. And now here, hit by pitch, stolen base, wild pitch. It's the type of stuff that's got to be cleaned up.
Here's the payoff from the lefty in the stretch. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Feinberg trots back to the dugout, and Eric Becker to replace him in the batter's box.
Shortstop from UVA, number 28, Eric Becker.
Out of UVA in Fells, New York. The freshman looking to do some damage here, a runner on third. Was third team All-ACC in 2025. Solid baseball conference. First pitch, a breaking ball, curve in there for a strike. 0-1 the count with 1 out on the board. Bourne going to need some quick outs here. Marinero did a good job in his first inning. He's in a tougher spot right here, Adam.
Without a doubt, 190 feet away. Anything in play probably brings him home.
0-1 the pitch. Foul tipped back into the glove of Keenan. Once again, Marinero heading the count. He's been like that a lot. But as we saw last time, got himself full. Ended up getting the strikeout, but got to be a little bit more efficient with these guys. The lefty with an open stance, and Becker sits waiting. The 0-2. Fast pitch, top of the zone. A swing and strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts, the first and second of the game for Marinero, as he's brought this to a much more comfortable setting.
That's it. That's how you bounce back. After you hit a guy and throw a wild pitch to move him into scoring position, that's all you do. You strike him out. You say, you know what, I messed up. Let me go redeem myself here.
First pitch fouled back toward us. 0-1 the count. With 2 outs on the board, Bourne are going to need it. Matt Conti from the right side got on with a walk in the first. These last 2 have been sent back to the dugout. The 0-1. Rocketed out toward right field, but straight foul. Kids in the grass concourse chase after it, looking for a souvenir. 0-2 the count with 2 outs on the board. Great way to get ahead for Marinero. He comes set at his left shoulder from the stretch in the back of the rubber. The 0-2. Breaking ball high. A great snag from Keenan. Kept that one in front and limited a run from scoring.
That was a run saver. I thought right when that was released by Marinero, that was heading straight to the backstop. And with a full fence backstop here, it's a guaranteed run. But no, as you said, Keenan just leaped up and kept it with him.
Yeah, back at Bourne may be different if it catches the rock wall. The 1-2 pitch. Here's Marinero. Fastball out into right field, past the glove of Lewis, and that one scores a run. An excellent strike and a good inning it's been for the Mariners. Conti with an RBI.
I know I've said it a few times today, but once again, that's just a really good piece of hitting.
He's a spider from the
that time
number 24,
from Conti to send it the other way. Had a lot of power on it, put it right where it needed to be. You send it into right field, and it's so easy for the guy from third to score. It's great situational hitting, something we haven't seen from Harwich since the first.
Finally, they get a run for the first time. We're dry for 5 in a row. First pitch is in the dirt. No look for Conti at first. Gets that RBI, and it was a consistent theme of innings of 4 batters or less for Harwich. Now they see their 5th right now and try to extend this inning a little further, add to their lead, 7-3. 1-0 pitch, a called strike at the bottom of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. As the night gets darker, the temperature drops and the time for Bourne to make a comeback dwindles. The 1-1 pitch from Marinero. Inside. High leg kick there. He's got his swagger, but just needs the results to go with it. Two on with 2 outs. Runner on first is Conti. Here's the pitch. Fastball just outside. Jaffe out of Richmond has spent 3 years in summer ball. In the A-10, slugged a really solid .364, and as a career in his 6 seasons, 3 summer ball, 3 collegiate, it's .333 for him. Couldn't ask for much more than a guy you know he's going to be solid with that much experience coming into the Cape. Was the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Year back in 2023, as this one's fouled off. Full count, will do it again. A long look at the wrist for Marinero as he's looking to get out of this inning. Has allowed the first run in 6 innings for this Harwich team. Here's the payoff. Low cut and a swinging strike 3. All outs this inning by way of strikeout, but a run scores for the Mariners, and they make it a 4-run ball game. Bourne's going to need a little bit, and we'll send things to Ariel Tamir-Pinsky for more.
Thanks, Devon. 8 former Braves are in Omaha competing in the College World Series, including Camden Kojal with Arkansas. Arkansas plays their first game today, and this is particularly special for Cam, getting to go back home to Omaha to play in the College World Series. He said it is surreal. It's a dream come true to be able to be there and give his dad a hug. And after he's done playing in Omaha, he'll be back playing with Bourne this summer. Devon?
Thank you, Ariel. And you know, Cam, a great guy, was here in Bourne last year. I think we've got some fun upcoming content for you all. Adam, you'll be on the side of that, but we won't spoil it. LSU and Arkansas playing right now.
Yeah, that game in the top of the 3rd inning, and a quick early lead for the Tigers, up 3-0 over the Razorbacks. All 3 of those runs came in the top of the 3rd inning. Chris Stanfield, another former Bourne Brave, he had an RBI, had one of those hits. Cam Kojal, unfortunately, 0 for 1 today. Gahio Aloy is supposed to be joining Bourne later on. He has a walk for Arkansas. The other game today in the College World Series, that ended earlier. Murray State, the Cinderella, fell to UCLA, the number 15 seed, 6-4. So we're almost done with the first couple of days of the College World Series. We'll get into elimination games tomorrow. Arizona takes on Louisville at 2. Coastal Carolina plays Oregon State in a double elimination game at 7. But Cape League baseball is underway, even though the college season isn't over, and we are into the top of the 8th here on opening day. The Harwich Mariners lead the Bourne Braves 7-3. First pitch is low, and it's a ball to John LeGrand. He's 1 for 3 today. Last time up, got a single, stole second, and then was out trying to steal third on an attempted double steal. The 1-0. Hit hard down the right field line. That's a base hit, and it's got extra bases written all over it. LeGrand on his horse on his way to second, and it's a stand-up double to lead off the top of the 8th for the Bravos. The throw-in got a little bit away, but luckily the left fielder Brini did back it up, so LeGrand is stopped at second. But what a way to get this top of the 8th going.
He's getting rolling really fast here. He's gotten better every single at-bat, and it's just what you like to see from LeGrand. A player who now can be really dangerous on second. A player that would hit that would often score maybe just one will likely score LeGrand here at second.
So now you got Weber Niels at the plate. He's been probably the best hitter today for Bourne. Arthur, the lefty, looks in. First pitch. Just catches the top of the zone, and it's 0-1. Niels, 2 for 2 with a walk. He's got an RBI, and he scored a run. One of those hits was a double. The 0-1. Just outside, 1-1. LeGrand scored the first run of the game for Bourne on that Niels double. So these two have already connected for a run today. Bravo's down by 4. Could use one here. 1-1. Fouled off down the third baseline towards the Mariners bullpen. Both bullpens are in play here in White House Field. You can hear someone warming up down the right field line for Bourne. Can't actually see who it is. Someone warming up for Harwich as well. Get you that name in a moment. The 1-2. High in the air, right field. Wolf moving back the first baseman. He watches it go over the fence out of play. It's Hayden Simerson, the right-hander out of Catawba Junior College, who's committed to Clemson, warming up for Harwich. But Adam Arthur would love to get out of this 8th inning himself. He's got a runner on second and a 1-2 count, no outs. The left-hander looks back. Now to the plate, here's the pitch. Just fouled back. Niels barely got a piece of it. The ball rolls right in front of our table at field level as ball boy Cooper Karras runs and picks it up.
Great hustle.
We love to see that from Coop.
One of the more experienced ball boys we have now. Led the meeting of all ball boys just a couple days ago.
He's a youngster going into 4th grade, but as you said, led the meeting. The 1-2. Just low. Niels thought about it for a second, went about a quarter of the way around before holding back. And so the count 2-2.
It's like he's seeing these pitches in slow motion so far. Great eye and great contact when he puts wood to ball.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Arthur went quick on him. And Niels wasn't ready for that nasty delivery from the left side. That's a strikeout. And it'll bring up the number 8 hitter to the plate, Jimmy Keenan, who's 1 for 3 today, singled his last time up.
And the catcher from Wake Forest, Jimmy Keenan.
Braves right now just looking for help from the entire lineup. Haven't really gotten it from one person in abundance, but have been a little sharing the wealth so far.
Arthur's first pitch is hit high in the air towards center field. Broussard ranging back towards the warning track, and that bounces in front of the wall. LeGrand on his way home. Stopping at second is Jimmy Keenan. It's an RBI double, and it's a 3-run ball game.
An excellent swing and an excellent way to get this inning rolling. Just what you needed for LeGrand to come home, and quite the swing. Likely would have been out in maybe other ballparks, maybe on a warmer day or with a wind in the different direction, but nevertheless, exactly what you need. Hoping for some assistance now from the batters behind him.
That brings up the number 9 hitter, Riker Waite. First pitch he sees, shows bunt, pulls it back, gets inside, and the count 1-0. So Bourne now down 7-4 here in the top of the 7th. 1 out, and the runner on second base, Jimmy Keenan. John LeGrand scored his 2nd run of the day just a moment ago. That pitch inside, and it hits Waite. So he reaches for the 3rd time today, a walk, and now the 2nd hit by pitch. Waite, a small guy, but he's seeing a lot of the ball. And that brings Justin LeBron to the plate in a huge moment. 2 on, 3-run game. That means this guy represents the tying run.
From Alabama, number 16, Justin LeBron.
A lot of responsibility here, and he'll need his first of anything today. Family in attendance, his brother, his father.
Meeting on the mound as Arthur talking things over with his catcher, Matt Conti. Also now a trip to the mound for Harwich. So they'll talk things over here.
And we've seen Arthur now not be able to disregard a bad at-bat. If something comes in his way, oftentimes he's been struggling to put that away and continue strong, and you saw that with these last couple at-bats. You saw that last inning. But it's important he kind of just shakes it off. Goldfish or golden retriever mentality, if you will.
And it was a very delayed point to the mound, so a pitching change for Harwich. That means we will step aside for a moment, but don't go anywhere. We've got some interesting action. Bourne down by 3 with the tying runner at the plate when we come back.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
So the new pitcher on the mound for Harwich is Hayden Simerson. This is a right-hander currently committed to Clemson after spending a few years at the junior college level. And oh boy, what a big situation to get your first Cape League outing. Runners on first and second, 1 out, 3-run game, and Justin LeBron at the plate. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch, upstairs on a fastball, 1-0.
LeBron's been really solid defensively, but you're looking for more out of him on offense. Has been pretty disciplined, not swinging a lot so far. Maybe he ought to take some hacks now.
0 for 4, 2 strikeouts two strikeouts looking, 1 swinging, and a fly out to center. The 1-0, swing and a miss on a fastball upstairs, 1-1. We've mentioned it before, but LeBron comes into Bourne with probably the highest expectations of any player, which is not an easy thing. But this is a guy who's been talked about as a potential top pick next year. 2-time All-SEC at shortstop. 1-1. Fastball in at the knees, inside part of the plate, 1-2. Jimmy Keenan on second base. After his RBI double, Riker Waite 90 feet behind him after being hit by a pitch. Simerson from the stretch. The kick and the pitch. Off speed, roped in the air, left field. Breeny moving back, he settles under it, makes the catch, and both runners have to retreat. So solid contact from LeBron, but Breeny brings it in, out number 2, and Cade Lewis will head to the plate. He's 1 for 4 today. Another guy with a lot of pedigree who could use a big hit here.
Yeah, these top 3 batters in the order are the ones you expect the most from that really you haven't seen a lot from so far. All 4 runs scored in the bottom 4 of the order.
Right now, Bourne down by 3. First pitch to Lewis is fouled off down the third baseline, and the count 0-1. But as you said, all the runs coming from the bottom of the order for the Bravos. LeGrand, the number 6 hitter, has scored 2. Niels, the 7 hitter, has 1, and the number 9 hitter, Riker Waite, also has 1. Top of the order has been silent. The 0-1. Just below the knees. A ball and a strike to count. 9 hits in this game for Bourne, compared to 5 for Harwich, but the runs in the Mariners' favor, 7-4. It was a 6-run first inning for Harwich, and Bourne hasn't had the lead. The 1-1, just inside, another fastball, 2-1. Very patient at the plate, the left-hander Lewis out of Wake Forest. Taps his bat against the edge of the box and digs in, really crowding the plate. The 2-1. Just low. 3-1. Lewis ahead in the at-bat. He represents the tying run. Braden Holcomb stands on deck. He represents the go-ahead run. Lewis standing in. The pitch. That's low, ball 4. Simerson comes in, walks the second man he sees to load the bases. With 2 outs for the man they call Hulk, the only returner here right now in Bourne. It's Braden Holcomb coming to the plate with the bases loaded in the top of the 8th inning and his team down by 3. Holcomb represents the go-ahead run. At first base, Kay Lewis represents the tying run. In front of him, Jimmy Keenan at third and Riker Waite at second.
Haven't seen the bases loaded for the Braves yet, Adam.
Holcomb singled his last time up in the 7th. His first pitch in for a strike fastball at the knees, 0-1. Holcomb before that struck out in each of his first 2 at-bats. Reached back in the 5th on a fielder's choice, actually on an error they called it. And then stole second. Looking for his first RBIs of the season here. The 0-1. Ground ball, right side. That should be an easy play for Inoue. And it is. He throws to first, and Braden Holcomb grounds out 4-3 with the bases loaded in the top of the 8th inning. And the Braves continue to strand runners on. That's now 9 runners left in scoring position in this first game of the season. We'll step aside. Top of the 8th coming up. You're listening to the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network on Cape League TV.
Been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed, or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Time for the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to Bourne Braves Baseball here on the Bourne Braves Broadcast Network. Will Whalen into pitch for the Bravos. And I'd like to let you know that Keystone Place at Buzzards Bay is Bourne's premier senior living community, conveniently located adjacent to the Cape Cod Canal. Visit us at KeystonePlace@BuzzardsBay.com. So Will Whalen, that new pitcher in the game out of the University of Minnesota, a junior, stands at 6'3", 205 pounds. Southpaw at a 6.75 ERA in 20 outings this past season. Went 40 innings. His first pitch is just outside on a fastball, and the count 1-0 to Evan Dempsey, the number 6 hitter. He's reached all 3 of his times up today, was hit by a pitch first 2 times, and then struck out. Then got a single, actually, back in the 6th. Whalen looks in. Lefty-lefty, 1-0. Fastball upstairs, 2-0. This is actually the 3rd time in this game that Dempsey has seen a new pitcher. Not sure how it's worked out exactly that way, but it has.
Top of these innings, he's been that guy Chaffee right behind him, an inning ender 3 times so far.
The 2-0 downstairs, 3-0. Whalen, a long look in. Pitch clock down to 5. Now he deals, and it's upstairs. Ball 4. That's not how you want to start your outing. It's a 4-pitch walk for Whalen to get things going here on the Cape.
You've really had one strong performer
He's the Eagle from
on the
Boston
mound
College.
so far today
Number 34, Kyle
for
Wolf.
the Bravos, and that's been Landon White. You haven't been able to find that same magic from these other guys, but discipline really has been the real difference. White just throwing strikes. I think 66% of his pitches were strikes. Not for these other guys.
Whalen looks over to first, now deals, and the pitch in for a strike. Fastball inside part of the plate as Kyle Wolf stands in, the first baseman out of Boston College. 0 for 3 today. Popped out to the catcher, struck out, and grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. Whalen looks over to first, takes his time, now deals, and a foul tip into the glove of the catcher, Keenan, on a fastball. It's 0-2. Whalen looks over, now deals, and a swing and a miss. Actually a foul tip. That got a little piece of the bat of Wolf, and either way, it is strike 3 and out number 1 of the
Number 2, Shintaro Inoue.
top of the 8th inning. Sorry, the bottom of the 8th inning. So Shintaro Inoue now steps in. This is his first at-bat of the game. Came in as a pinch runner back in the 6th inning after we saw the injury to Jake Coonan. First pitch he sees today. In for a strike, fastball at the knees, 0-1. Inoue, a native of Japan at Kansas State. Spent a couple years at the junior college level before. Hits a slow bouncer back towards the mound. Heading off at his wheel, and he throws to first, and it's in time. Nice play at first by Lewis to bring it in. And that is out number 2. The runner Dempsey does advance to second, but now 2 gone with Nico Brini headed to the plate. But before that, we'd like to thank Marty Chevrolet, your dealer for the people, proudly supports the Bourne Braves baseball team. See all our cars and trucks at martychevrolet.com, and go Braves. So Brini steps back into the box, 0 for 3 today. But can change his outing here with some insurance. First pitch is hit high in the air, sky high into the very low clouds. LeGrand ends up finding it with his glove above his head and makes the catch for out number 3. So that does it for the bottom of the 8th inning. No hits, no runs, no errors, 1 left on for the Mariners, and we head into the top of the 9th. For Bourne, it's the middle of the order, 4, 5, 6 to try and spark a rally and get the Bourne Braves back into opening day. We'll step aside. Top of the 9th coming up next.
You can dream it. If you can cruise in it. If you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Keystone Place at Buzzards Bay, Bourne's premier senior living community. Conveniently located adjacent to the Cape Cod Canal, visit us at Keystone Place at buzzardsbay.com. As well, Marty Chevrolet, your dealer for the people, proudly supports the Bourne Braves baseball team. See all our cars and trucks at martyschevrolet.com, and go Braves.
All right, well, here we go. Time for the top of the ninth inning. Bourne down to its final 3 outs. It's Logan Hughes, the left-handed hitter, to lead things off. First pitch is in for a strike on a fastball. Belt high in the count, 0-1. Hayden Simerson back out. Came in the middle of the bottom of the 8th and got out of a jam. Misses the zone in the count, 1-1. Got out of a bases-loaded jam. Forced a Braden Holcomb ground out. To end the inning. The 1-1 from the wind. Here it comes. High fly ball in the air towards right field. Feinberg back towards the fence. He looks up, and it's out of here. Well, that's how you get a rally going. Logan Hughes with the first homer of the season, just over the outstretched arm of Harrison Feinberg, and Bourne trails by just 2 in the top of the 9th.
Adam, if there was anyone to do it, I think we both thought it was going to be Hughes. The power he had a center field flyout in the 7th that could have gone over if not for the temperature and wind. This time he gets it done and puts the Braves in a great position to extend this game to the bottom of the 9th. They need help, though. This bottom of the order is where they've done it.
Bryce Molinaro at the plate. His first pitch, a fastball low. The count, 0-1. John LeGrand on deck. He represents the tying run, and he scored 2 runs today. Simerson from the wind, the 1-0. Fastball outside part of the plate, a called strike. Some action now in the Harwich bullpen. It's Harrison Wilson getting loose, the right-hander out of Winthrop. The 1-1. Another high fly, but this time down the right field line and out of play. The count 1-2. Simerson into the wind. Here's the kick and the pitch. Hit hard in the air towards center field, but Broussard gets a good read on it. Moves to his left and in to make the catch for out number 1.
Nearly didn't have it, though. Took a step back like he thought it was going to go further, then readjusted quick.
Now we're towards the bottom of the order. The number 6 hitter, John LeGrand, at the plate. And he's probably the guy you want up right now with his speed and his ability to get on. He's been on base 3 times today, a single, a double, also reached on an error, and then a very hard hit line out.
He's been that spark plug.
Simerson's first pitch in the dirt. Nice play by Conti behind the plate to keep it in front of him, and he tells his pitcher, take a deep breath, calm down, with the count 1-0. At third, Jaffe playing a little bit in, toes on the grass. The 1-0 popped up sky high through the clouds. Can't see it as it goes down the first base line and out of play. The count 1-1. Clouds not as low as they usually are here on the Cape, especially at night as east as we are. However, they are definitely a little low, and as a ball gets sent high in the air, you can lose it for a second. LeGrand hands high above his head. The 1-1. Hit hard back up the middle. That's off the leg of Simerson to the shortstop Becker. Throw to first is in time. Oh, a bang play off the leg of the pitcher. The shortstop Becker picks it up as it bounced right to him. And as close as it gets at first base, the Bravos dugout isn't too happy with the call, but it's out number 2. Bourne down to its final hope. Weber Neals steps up.
I think Jeff
1 out to go.
I think Jeff Merzell had the good call there. It's quite tough, but unlucky that it caught the leg of our pitcher before reaching shortstop.
First pitch to Neals in for a strike, 0-1. If that didn't hit Simerson, it was guaranteed base hit up the middle. From the wind, here's the pitch. That's low, 1-1. Neals 2 for 3 with a double, a single, as well as a walk. He's got an RBI and scored a run. The 1-1. In for a strike, fastball at the knees, Bourne down to its final strike. 1-2, 2 outs, top of the 9th. Bravos trail 7-5 here on opening day, trying to extend this game. The 1-2 in the dirt, bounces away from Conti, and Eels lives to see another day. Some of the fans left in attendance starting a slow clap. Harwich faithful trying to will its team to victory. 2-2. And he got him looking on a fastball. Outside part of the plate. Niels knew it right away before it was even called a strike by the home plate umpire. He started walking towards the dugout. The handshake line commences on the field as Harwich, with help from a 6-run first inning, beats Bourne 7-5 on opening day.
It's really that first inning you look back to, Adam. After the first, it was a 5-1 ball game.
Yeah.
Right? Bourne just had that self-inflicted wound inning that compounded on itself and proved to be the difference. That's all it really took for Harwich. You don't have an inning like that, it sure leaves a different game.
And how it happened as well in the first inning with just 2 hits, 6 runs. You had 2 errors, 2 hit-by pitches, 2 walks. But that's what does it. A frustrating one definitely for Bourne with how it happened. But I'll tell you what, I think that there's also definitely some positives that you see from this game. A lot of power, multiple extra base hits, and speed as well. This is about as classic of an opening day as you get. A slow start, but some things to be excited about.
Certainly, and you know, me being new to Bourne baseball, it's hard to say. At the same time, Bourne, a lot to learn from this game, a lot to go into it and, you know, take lessons out of it. But nevertheless, I think there's a lot to be happy about this game, Adam. And if not that first inning, again, could have been different.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll be back tomorrow as Bourne has its home opener. The Bravos host the Chatham Anglers tomorrow. That game will get underway at 6 p.m. We hope to see you all at Doran Park for the first time this season. But for now, we thank you all so much for tuning in to this opening day broadcast. For all the post-game coverage, make sure to follow us on Twitter and YouTube at Bourne Braves. For our sideline reporter, Ariel, Tamir-Pinsky, our producer, Gabriella, Voccio, my fellow play-by-play broadcaster, Devon, Jarvis, I'm Adam Gotkin saying so long and have a great night.